known.
And the lecturers' strike that has affected 41 universities is on its second day today, even after the Dons refused to return to work until their grievances are resolved. The Dons took to the streets across different counties yesterday, claiming they were forced to down their tools after the government ignored their 7-day strike notice.
According to the failure by the government to honor our agreements we had with them last year and the powers bestowed upon us as secretaries, today we have launched the two-chapter strike.
We have the CBA of 2017-2021. This government implemented it in bits. They were to do the second phase in July this year. That is 2 months ago, but they have not done so.
Nimeona waziri wa elimu ameandika barua ya kusema kwamba pesa ya kumaliza huu mgomo imetoka. Ningependa kusisitiza kwamba sisi hatutarudi kazini mpaka hiyo pesa tuone imeingia kwapi kwa mfuko.
It is not our wish, but we are forced by circumstances. So we appeal to our students to be patient as their lecturers push for what is rightfully theirs.
The Seven Kamsa's Education CS Julius Ogamba pleaded with them to return to work, with Treasury claiming that it had released 2.5 billion shillings to be utilized in the implementation of Phase 2 of the 2021-2025 CBA for universities.
We are working with Treasury as we speak to ensure that that money is released within the next 2 weeks or by the end of this month. As we speak, we'll be getting some confirmation from Treasury as to which is the actual date when that exchequer will be released. And this information, once passed to WASU, they will then have a discussion and see whether it is enough for them to be able to withdraw the notice and continue with the studies until that money is paid. But we are negotiating. It is something that I'm encouraging them, that the government is committed to fulfill the obligations that were provided for in the return to work formula.
That's the Newswire. I'm Leo Baga, and remember to continue enjoying the EPL marches across our radio stations, Berur, Radio Maisha, and right here on SpiceFM.
the issue of trust. For you to turn around and then stab the same people who gave you that trust, there is no other level of dishonesty. Imabo, utaona dunia tu.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
In this country, 6 families and 8,000 Kenyans control 90% of the GDP. We are not a country. We are a plantation. We work for Ruto.
When you're telling the judges court orders are papers or they will not obey court orders, they're sitting and you're seeking orders from them. So how are they supposed to interpret it? Isn't it an oxymoron?
When you see a judiciary that seems to be under some control somewhere, you start questioning. We have very powerful governors, but they don't use their offices to serve the people.
If you are not shameful to do what you are doing, why should we protect you?
I'm human. Everybody's human. So when you're told, kuja tuongee, I mean, you'd be a fool to say, stagi kuongea. Conversations have to be had, you know?
People in leadership should only go into leadership if they are ready and willing to change the lot of the people.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Good morning, and I love your show.
Thank you.
Having come from...
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
A very good morning to you. It's 6:15 on this 18th day of September. And we actually here. Sorry, guys, there's an issue this morning. And it's coming in with our sound, but we're here and getting into things this morning. Very, very, very good morning to everybody. And hope that you're doing okay. Dennis Okari?
Yes.
Ngoja kidogo.
Good morning.
Hapana. Oi. Hey, see me.
With my microphone.
Bring your own mic to work day.
Yeah.
Bring
You're
your
the guy
own
who did that, huh?
I'm telling you, it needs to be a
I'll come with
thing.
my own PA system.
Okay, at this rate, it might be necessary.
Yes. You're well?
I'm well. Uko salama?
Niko salama kabisa.
Yeah.
You look different.
I look different, but yeah, you know how sometimes things are.
A girl must look good.
Almost.
Yeah.
A girl must look
A girl must look good.
A girl must
because
try.
the girl's gone out.
What's happening?
Huh?
What's happening?
You can't hear me.
I can hear you.
Are you
I'm
sure?
just wondering what you're saying.
Oh, you're wondering what I'm saying. So, how was your evening?
It was okay.
Oh, yesterday. Why am I saying evening? Okay, the whole of yesterday.
It was quiet-ish.
It was quiet.
Yeah.
Your night was good.
Yeah, not bad.
Your morning.
It's looking up.
Where are we going
today? We're not going anywhere.
There's when a girl has just done the makeup and looking good. There's something.
Akuna. You know, you can do makeup and stay in the duvet.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Tutakuchunguza tu. Pole.
Uko salama lakini?
I'm good. Yes.
Good to see you.
One of those mornings where you wake up, you're like, okay, 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes.
And then 2 more minutes becomes 20.
Why is it that it happens in the mornings? You want to extend 2 minutes, then it becomes 15 minutes.
Exactly.
But if you're in an exam room, 2 more minutes look like 2 hours.
Or like when you're waiting for something that is unpleasant, or you have to go through a process, it takes forever.
Yeah.
But the things that you enjoy are, like a flash in the pan and they're done.
Anyway, such is life. Morning is great. It's Thursday. We're here.
We are here.
Yes.
And getting into things this morning. It's Thursday, and it is just this Thursday getting into a number of conversations today.
Today's packed, huh?
Today's packed, but you know what today is?
Yes.
Today's my mom's birthday.
See. Your girl must look good for something.
For mommy.
This is not for duvet. I knew it.
There was actually no connection. Then
There
I
was
remembered.
a connection.
Oh, lie, there is.
You just didn't know it.
Oh, I didn't know it.
Mommy's birthday's today.
Yeah, my mom's birthday is today.
Oh, my God. Where is she?
My mom is in Nigeria.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to do a FaceTime or something?
Of course.
Are you going to sing for her?
Definitely.
How old is she today?
She turns today. Wow. My mom today is, wait. Let me do the math properly.
Minus.
What year are we in?
50 something? 60 something?
No. My mom today is... Wait, let me do the math on the phone because the head is not working.
Sorry, I pushed you on the spot.
No, you didn't. It's fine.
Yeah.
You didn't put me on the spot. I just want to make sure that I get it right before I come and embarrass Engineer Okoh's wife on... So my mom is 77 today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sweet 77.
I know. She's 77 today and she looks like a spring chicken. I'm telling you, I envy her.
I must see a picture.
I will show you a
like
picture.
Your mother or more like your dad?
I look like my dad.
Like your dad.
I'm a splitting image of my father.
Okay. Character, mom, dad?
My dad.
Everything in your dad?
Fact, he downloaded everything to me.
Oh.
He downloaded it all.
Nothing from mommy?
Well, I mean, I think, okay, actually, yeah. Some character traits, definitely.
Okay.
My mom. But
all I know, she prays for you a lot, huh?
Even now.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Even now, she does.
Nigerian women decide to pray.
Some things will happen and I'll be like, yeah.
Yeah, someone's praying for me.
Yep.
7-7, you know 7-7 what it means, yeah?
Tell me.
7, the number 7.
I know it's a special number. It's a perfect number.
Number of completion.
Exactly.
She's complete.
It's complete. She's done it.
Mr. Okoh.
Yeah.
Huh?
She's done it. She's done it and done
Happy
it.
Happy birthday, Mrs. Okoh.
Happy birthday, mommy. Yeah.
What's your mom's name, by the way?
Patience.
Patience?
Yes.
Oh, Patience.
Yes. Patience Nkem Dilim Okoh.
Wait. Patience?
Nkem Dilim.
Nkem Dilim.
Dilim, yes.
Nke? N-K-E.
N-K-E-M-D-I-L-I-M.
Nkem Dilim.
Yes.
It's a fantastic name.
Nkem is mine.
It means mine.
Nkem Dilim, the one that was made for me, my own. That's her father named her that. It was a very interesting story.
Okay.
Because my grandfather had 4 wives, but the mother of my mother was the love of his life, but she died when my mother was only 3. And so when she was born, she was his only child of that wife.
Yeah. And
he said, this one is mine. That's how he named her in our language. That's very interesting stories.
Beautiful, beautiful name.
Yep, it is. Happy birthday, mommy. So getting into things also. And you know what? Speaking of birthdays, there's a lady, her name is Helen Wamoyo. She works here in the commercial department of the Standard Group and she does some good stuff in terms of business. It's her birthday as well, coming up this weekend. And we might not get an opportunity to then do that over the weekend. So happy birthday coming up for you, Wamsi.
And everybody who has a birthday today, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, everybody.
Yeah.
We're getting into it this morning. And even as we do, good morning, EVE, turning the wheels, getting things into motion. And she's working on that sound issue, Usijali. It's going to be looked at and it's going to be sorted out. Sawa. All right. So let me tell you some of the conversations. It's been sorted, Bas. You see, it's like magic. She's already sorted it out, you guys. I'm telling you, this is the chick that you need in your corner. All right. So we're going to have a couple of conversations today. We talked about gold and all that glitters is not
gold.
Thank you very much. Odhiambo Brian Otieno is a researcher and a communication strategist. The movement of gold from country to country and people who benefit from it, the whole gold trade and what could be scams or not scams or scandals and not scandals has been up for discussion over the last couple of weeks, putting it mildly.
I have a story, but I will talk about it later.
You'll tell us the story. Behind the Shine, that's the conversation we'll have at 7 o'clock. Odhiambo will be here to share in that conversation with us. We're then going to look at the state of the nation with PLO Lumumba. He's an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and Tanganyika. He joins us at 8 a.m. We're going to be looking at things, and it'll be interesting because we see a lot of things happening at the same time and you want to ask the question, where are we and what exactly are we doing? Stolen childhoods is our Justice Thursday conversation. Beryl is somebody who is a child labor survivor, and she's with the Survivor Network. She's going to join us together with the Honorable Aziza Adjwang, who's the Senior Principal Magistrate and Deputy Registrar. We'll have that conversation at 9 o'clock, and we'll look at the intrigues. When we talk about child labor, and we say, okay, yeah, well, maybe in another country. No, right here. And we'll look into the details of that today. So that's what our conversations look like. Karibu Sana, and thank you for joining us already in the room. Our audience on KTN, good morning. And as we get things rolling, our live streams are up, YouTube, Facebook, and on X. And Christine is making things happen in that corner. So thanks, everybody, as we get into things this morning. the people of Benin, in terms of population, it's an interesting one. But let's look at some of the proverbs that they share with us this morning. We have been in this country, which is in West Africa, of course, and there are many things that they've said in terms of proverbs, but let's look at one of them. It's interesting because the language, one of the main languages is called Fon, F-O-N.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's a Fon proverb.
There is a Fon proverb, indeed there is. He who profits by chance will lose by chance. Let me.
That's the proverb?
No, that's the meaning of the proverb.
Oh.
But I did it by mistake. So let's just pretend that nobody heard that. Okay?
Okay.
So we've started again.
Okay, start.
A man who goes to hunt and sees some fruit will take it instead. A man who goes to hunt and sees some fruit will take it instead.
That's the proverb. What's the interpretation of that? A man who goes to hunt.
And sees some fruit will take it instead.
Mm-hmm. I've never gone for hunting, but I've watched my grandfather from my mom's side would tell me stories when they would go for hunting.
Yeah.
Back in the days, and he was teaching me how to basically throw an arrow. It paints a picture of distraction. So you're going to hunt, but then you see a fruit. So the fruit for me could represent distraction. That will be my interpretation. So your focus is you're going into the forest, you're going to hunt. You're not hunting fruits, of course. You're going to hunt an animal. But if you see a fruit, then that fruit could be representative of distraction.
There you go.
Okay, so the hunter then becomes distracted by the fruit and then stops on their tracks. And maybe they could miss what was essentially and initially their target.
Yeah, the thing you went to look for in the first place, you didn't go for it because something else distracted you.
Yeah, something distracted you. And so you just definitely didn't meet your goal then at that particular point.
Yeah.
Or it could mean it's sometimes a break for refreshment. That could also be another meaning.
Yeah.
Like you're on a day's long journey, you've been hunting for hours, or you're pursuing something for a long time. But then life has a way of putting its brakes on you, and the fruit could represent that as well. Like take a moment, pause, breathe in, breathe out, refresh yourself before you continue with the journey.
Yep.
It could also mean that.
Absolutely.
So it could mean
it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It could also mean, sometimes they say people who move very fast in life, they will always encounter bumps, and these bumps are a way of life telling you, take a break. Unaenda mbio sana. Take a break.
Chill.
Just take a chill pill.
Absolutely.
And re-strategize, re-energize before you can continue with the journey.
Absolutely.
Yep, that will be my interpretation or illustration of the two sides of the same coin.
And I agree with you completely.
And the interpretation was chance what? There's something you said earlier.
So the interpretation, I mean, just what it looked like in terms of what they said. He who profits by chance might also lose by chance.
The distractions again, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
A good one.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk about let's say hello to you guys this morning, and I know that you're already clicking into the room today, and let's get into it, shall we? So Don Sabwa says, Ndu, yes. Ask Okari, does he know DHA? Do you know DHA?
DHA?
Yeah.
No.
DHA is the Digital Health Authority.
Oh God.
I was just telling you, they are the ones who maintain and operate they're the ones responsible for the maintenance and the operations of the SHA system. So So now you know.
SHA and DHA.
DHA.
Okay.
Yeah. So umelewa.
Yeah, umelewa.
Thanks. So now he knows. I've answered the question for you, Don. Good morning to you, Karibu Sana. Never allow your struggles to become your identity, because heaven knows you by your name and not by your struggles. Peter Kiarie, good morning to you. Good morning, tuning from Mombasa is Robert Bogo. Kisa Daniel is tuning from Atiak in Uganda. Abdikadir Hawadle says, good morning. This is Abdikadir from Garissa, wishing you a beautiful and blessed day ahead. May your morning be as bright as your smile and your day as amazing as your spirit. Amen. Good morning to you. Christina A., good morning. Nyadi Chukunzira, Princess Ndu and the legend Dennis, good morning from Doha in Qatar. Good morning to you. King Dave Lubali says, good morning, wonderful family. Jimmy Monuthi, good morning, Spice family. Ndu, today's my birthday. Please bless me with a song. Allah. Just because, and you hear every morning, Jimmy Munuthi, good morning, and happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jimmy. Happy birthday to you. So no. Rogers Nyange tuned in as watching from Voi. Erica Ward says, good morning, guys. Wangi Juma says, good morning, Spice. How are you doing this Thursday? To the audiences, rise up for your country. Indeed, join in on these conversations and let's do it. Silas Akala is tuned in. And hello, Princess Ndu and Dennis. When did, as a nation, did we depart from development for people to development for optics? This is a good question. Good morning from Chuda, says Dr. Van Vick. Hello, Spice. The only way to start my day. Thank you so much, Boaz. Thank you for being here. Ready for the vibes. Tune in from Trans Nzoia. Yeah, Sauti imetengenezwa. That's correct, Kiswahili. No? Okay, thanks. Lecturers are striking, says Izakali. Ghost learners are topping the charts. Elections are running on vibes. But at least our athletes are banging gold. I'm telling you, guys, it's fantastic to watch the scenes on the World Athletic Championships platform. Fantastic to see. And so indeed, congratulations to Kenyan athletes and you know what they're doing for profiling of the country, but as well as smashing their personal goals. My prince, in Uganda you can be jailed for ironing your clothes during peak tariff hours. What? Oh, we're talking about energy here because Iron Box actually uses quite a lot in terms of energy.
Yes.
So apparently it's an offense if you can be caught ironing during peak traffic hours. My question is, how do they know that you've been ironing?
This is Uganda, right?
Yes, it's Uganda. Yeah, okay.
You're asking how they will know. Yeah, but we have knowing. Trust me.
Samantha, we see you sorted it out. Chef Davis Muthoka is sorted. Good morning, Jose Mahinda. Team Spice Nico Hapa, you people just watching you. Good. Thank you so much. Listening from Lukenya Hills is Erica Homo. Isaac Nderito, the president as a symbol of national unity, holding the microphone and abusing the opponent is no. Okay. Agola, good morning and thank you so much. My goodness. Wow, your compliments are so sweet. Agola, thank you so much for being here every morning. One that can be counted on. Asante Sana. Tibbs Muga says, good morning, tuned in. St. Gerald Center says, sugar and spice and all things nice. Good morning, Ndu Andy and all the spicers. Asante Sana. Wangi Juma says, to Ifoma, is everyone in the studio in the same color? Oh. I didn't even know.
Oh, feeling blue today.
It's blue. Is Evie in blue? Are you in blue? She's not in blue. Who else?
I can't see. Where is Eve? Stand on the table.
Yeah, stand on the table so we can see you. No, Evie is not in blue. Agola, Erokamano. I mean, that compliments is just too sweet. Yeah, there's another language I'm learning to speak. Don't ask me questions. Yeah, Erokamano. Ask me questions later. Najma Chaudhry says, it's my birthday too. Allah? These people who are born on the 18th of September seem to be special. Everybody got a birthday.
Your mother has a birthday. Everybody has a birthday today.
I'm telling you, Najma, happy birthday to you. Thank you so much always for being constant. And may the wind forever be at your back. May the lines fall for you in pleasant, sweet, and agreeable places. Happy birthday. Duke says, good morning, tuned in this morning. Remind people the 29th as we register for votes. Meskia Watu, 29th, start registering to vote. The sister says, happy birthday to Mom Ndu Asante Sana. We will tell her. Good morning, Dennis and Ndu from Lagos. You're in Ikeja. Should we send Mama some cake? Yes. In fact, email me or something. ndu.okoh@gmail.com. I'm just going to put it out there, but at the risk of being crazy. But email me and let's see what we can do for Mom. Thank you so much. Maki House says good morning. Tuned in. Thank you so much. Cyrus Singh is tuned in. Thank you so much, guys. Leo, good morning. Asante Sana, many, many more. Fid says Ndu and Okari tuned in from Beta in Homa Bay and good morning. Joe Botiano says, Ndu, your mom is my late mother's age mate. May she rest. And these are sweet women, aren't they? Nancy Lagat says, sweet day to you, all spices. Asante Sana. Cyan says, good morning, guys. Oh, this Fred listening from Awasi. Ever pleased with the objectivity of your broadcast. Asante Sana. Kento says, good morning, Ndu and Dennis. Happy birthday to our mother. Yes, it's our collective mother. If she was here, she would be calling all of you her children. Trust me. Aswan says, good morning and happy birthday to her as well. Asante. Good morning, Team Spice. Locked in. Damian, my son, has a birthday. Allah. Everybody's birthday is today. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Everybody, happy birthday. Ivan Amondi is tuning from the west of Nairobi. George Okoh is here, says, good morning, Princess Ndu, Dennis, and EVE. All these things that are ailing our country narrow down to culture. I agree. Richard Odera says good morning. Kennedy Ongwai is tuned in as well and says thank God for being alive despite the robbery and looting happening around us. Indeed. Anderson Yandwaro tuned in from Bosongo and Chituka. I love it when we have different people coming in and joining all of us who are here every day and from different parts of the country and indeed the world. Asante Sana. Maximilian says good morning. I think we're working on that sound. It should be okay. Owen Bosiri is watching from NYC. Agutu Ogembo says good morning. You can hear us, but the sound is very low. Let's test that out in a little bit and see. Guys, can you hear us? If there's an issue, maybe let us know. Oh, you said the punchline is at the end of your greeting, Isa Kale. What did you say at the end? I read everything, did I not? Oh, sorry. But at least our athletes are banging gold, proving that running away from problems is a national strength. Okay. I see what you did there. Well done. Ironing is not an offense per se, but it will be charged an energy bill by the landlord, says Paul Njeri in Uganda. Okay, you're the team I always count on every morning. Kudos, says Peter Gital. Thank you so much. Happy birthday to those celebrating theirs today. It's not yours, Wenzel. We see you. Mary Kenya says good morning. Tuned in from Los Angeles. Thank you, Ndu. I'm all smiles while you are special, Jimmy. Saeed Hidalia says good morning. I enjoy your work every morning. Tuning in from Qatar. You know, we said that Doha is the 48th county of Kenya. Mbaga Joshua also tuned in from Dubai. Sir Brian is tuned in this morning. Asante Sana. Andrew Chira is tuned in from Vancouver, Washington. Straight out of Doha is Deno Kibe. And Richard Odera says, you're loud and clear in Mombasa, so I think everything should be okay. Talk to us just in case it does get a little bit wonky and we'll see what we can do. Sawa sawa. Everybody, Karibu Sana. Let's look into the headlines this morning as we get into things, shall we? On the front page of The Standard. Kenya's bold newspaper. Shylock economy. Harsh economic times and bank credit denials have driven Kenyans into backstreet borrowing, fueling a Shylock economy that is pushing households to ruin. Victims of predatory lenders forfeit assets, skip meals, battle depression, and in some cases, take their own lives. Surveys show women disproportionately skipping meals, while non-performing loans hit 697 billion shillings. With banks favoring government lending, unregulated digital credit has filled the gap, quick but crippling, trapping millions in an endless cycle of debt. That's what we're looking at. That's the headline in The Standard this morning. And going into details of some of those other stories, taking a quick look into that. So looking at some of the other pages, some of those headlines. Learning universities paralyzed as dons and staff strike over arrears. They've lived up to their promise and down their tools. And we wake up this morning and into a better part of yesterday with that strike taking place. It'll be interesting to see, because we hear that the CS in the Ministry of Education actually said, okay, we've released some money, so we're asking you to call off the strike. We have not released. We have ring-fenced some money, and that money we can now release it so that you guys can go back to work. The guy said, no, sorry. The CBA is out. It's out of time. We're in another CBA. We're asking you to fulfill the tenets of the previous CBA. So guess what? We're doing what? We are striking. Pain and fury as lawyer Mbobu is buried amid call for speedy probe. He's been buried. The requiem mass took place day before yesterday. And the calls for justice were dominating mourners' cries. So let's see what is actually going to happen in terms of that call for justice. He died last week, Wednesday. A week later, he's been buried. Blow to DPP after High Court reinstates a 300 million shilling fraud case against the businessman. Opposition goes mute as Ruto beats his own drum, says, I'm the man, and you guys, sit in the corner.
Yeah.
Ongoing audit reveals billions lost on more than 50,000 ghost learners. You're here, and it's the audits, again, they're telling you. Ghost learners, 50,000 ghost learners. Let's do some math, shall we? Just because, it's Thursday morning and my calculator feels like doing something. Acha nikwambie. Let's say there are 50,000 ghost workers in the year 2025. And let's imagine that it's the year when full capitation has been sent. No, let's not even imagine that. Let's just go with the way it is. And that capitation is 22,244 shillings, okay? We know that 5,000 shillings is held at the ministry. So you go away with about 17,244 shillings. Now, what has been paid so far is the full capitation less 9,000 bob by the admission of the president the other day when he was hosting teachers. All right? So the amount that has been sent for this year is about 12,000 bob. All right? Are we together so far?
Yes.
Okay. Now, 50,000 ghost learners. These are people that we say, it looks like Dennis and Ndu and EVE all have 2 children each, but let's put them in there because now when it goes as capitation, now you get that money. So, 50,000 times 12,000 shillings is what? 600 million shillings. 600 million shillings this year paid to people who are not even in the system. Yeah? That's what we're talking. That's just this year, 2025. This year, 2025. It's not even the full amount, too, because we've not even done it. That's 600 million shillings. Now, we've not done it by the... Look, my head is already aching. But just so you know...
These figures will just make you feel
They'll just
dizzy.
make you feel sick. Yeah. And I'm already there. I can't deal. And you say you're looking for money. Huh? And that people are dying because they can't eat in this country. People are in a situation whereby you don't have, so you can't send enough. Who were we talking to the other day? There's an MCA who was here from Katanga Ward in Kiambu, in Murang'a County. What did he tell us? There's no ECD in his ward. One ECD does not exist in his ward. Those are the realities of the day. But there's money to pay some 50,000 people, non-existent people. Broke and hungry, many Kenyans left to the mercy of backstreet lenders, and this is a Shylock story that's happening here and looking into those details. So IEBC short of funds to run a 24 mini election slated for the 27th of November. Hakuna ni?
Hakuna pesa.
Thanks. Meanwhile, there are what?
We asked a commissioner here.
Yeah.
Commissioner Lutalala, and he said pesa umepatiwa.
They were given 50 billion. They needed 57. But it's not for... I don't know. Sorry. Please.
Isn't it interesting that functions of institutions or agencies that are key and very essential to quite a number of things, you're talking about education. There's no money, or money has been lost, or there's ghost this, ghost that. We go to health, there's no money. There's a story here yesterday in Mombasa. The president was saying, you know what, the government is going to pay for poor people who are not able to afford to pay SHA. The government is going to pay. Then I'm thinking, where is this money coming from? Where is the budget coming from?
Yeah.
That you can just,
Do you know that this year's education budget, education allocation in the budget is 702 billion shillings. 702 billion shillings. Tell me that 702 billion has already been spent, or they're trying to tell us that they've not found it, or that, the problem is here, unfortunately, for too many countries, that you budget, then you look for the money. you should know that this is how much I have. Then based on this is what I have for sure coming in, then I'm going to budget based on it. I know that by the time I put this thing down on paper, I will have $1 million.
There's something called projections. And you project after you look at patterns of what you've done in the past. So if, for example, you are in area X, and in area X for the last, 10 years, on average, what you collect, let's say, is 50 million. You can't drop a budget of 1 billion.
You cannot.
You just can't do that.
You can't do that.
Where is it coming from? So you can't from nowhere say, okay, we're going to have 50 billion.
Okay,
and
we have 600
average,
billion,
yeah.
but let's make a budget of 3.4 trillion because,
because we can.
Come on.
Yeah, because we can. No, it doesn't.
Those are potent drugs you're smoking, man.
The things people are drinking and smoking in these countries just...
So quickly, another one here. Mora and Wanyonyi, the eyes are on them for the race at the 800 finals, meter finals. That's happening today. It's on schedule for 3 p.m. for the 5,000 women's heats. The women's 800 heats are at 1:58 p.m. I like the way the World Athletics, they go to the minute. 1:58 p.m. And trust me, in Tokyo, at 1:58 p.m., the heats for the 800 women's finals will begin. At 3:45 p.m., the heats for the 800 men's semi-final will begin. Kenya has eyes on one Mr. Wanyonyi for the 800 and Mora for the 800 in the women's. Kipyegon, the supreme Kenyan champion and role model for mothers. There she is, Fortam. And she's made history by being the world champion over 1,500 meters, 4th time running. So she's done a good job. She's done a fantastic job there.
She has.
All right, over to you, sir.
Well, the Daily Nation, this beautiful, beautiful picture of these 4 queens. Kenyan stars line up for 5,000-meter hits today with duo vying for double gold. So, queens of the track, world beaters. There's a photo of Peres Jepchirchir, 2020 Olympic winner, added the Marathon World Championship title after beating Ethiopia's, that name. Faith Kipyegon stormed to a historic 4th World 1,500-meter title after bagging a 3rd consecutive Olympic win last year. This Beatrice Chebet blazed to victory in the 10,000 meters race. The 2-time Olympic champion is chasing 5,000-meter gold. Then there's Faith Cherotich. I just loved how she raced. Olympic bronze medalist upstaged the world to win the 3,000-meter steeplechase in a record time. These are beautiful Kenyan queens who are conquering the track in Tokyo to place the country second on the medal table with 4 gold, 1 silver and 2 bronze at the ongoing World Athletics Championships. The Kenyan stars are promising more podium finishes to keep the national flag flying high. And if you go to the back page, there is the world record within reach, says fresh champ Cherotich. So it was a glorious night for Kenya as the medal tally continued to tick at the filled-out Japan National Stadium in Tokyo. Faith Cherotich delivered when it mattered most, employing a killer kick that neutralized her opponents on her way to winning a gold medal in women's 3,000-meter steeplechase. And I love the writer. It makes it sound like this was a boxing match or something. It wasn't a race. So, brilliant young Kenyan girl upstages pre-race favorite Yavi in women's 3,000-meter steeplechase. And someone said yesterday, we're having a conversation. Why can't they actually do these interviews in Calais? Let them. The way you go to France, they speak French. Then there will be somebody who will interpret it.
Yeah,
in
let them interpret.
Let them speak their language.
How they're comfortable. I agree. 100%. Forcing me to speak English.
Yeah, it's up to them to figure out.
Yeah, you figure it out.
Yeah,
you figure it out. But other countries, they speak their Italian, they speak their
French,
Spanish, and you have an interpreter. Interpret Calais.
Yeah, I'm a Kiswahili.
Yeah,
you don't care. You go speak Swahili. Let somebody interpret that.
Absolutely. Let them speak Kiswahili, and then you can interpret. Because after all, if you look, Kiswahili, it's not the same UNESCO. The other year, who said that Kiswahili, one of the largest languages in the world.
Yes.
So come on.
They should actually do that. So the 2025 World Athletics Championship, September 13 to 21st. So there's the picture there of Chebet Kipyegon taking the first steps towards double gold. We are friends. May the best woman win, says Beatrice and Faith ahead of today's track clash. How beautiful is that?
I love it. I love it.
They're not enemies. They come from the same country. They are running the same race, but they say, okay, we are friends, but may the best woman win. But they're all so brilliant. So, Kongole kwao, we are all rooting for our Kenyan athletes. Now, to another story here. Cabinet Secretary's defiance on early 2027 campaigns. Politics, it is felt in some quarters that there is no law that expressly prohibits them from campaigning. Constitutional lawyer Kibe Mungai said there is no conflict between laws because a cabinet secretary is a political position. This is where Land CS Alice Wame was saying, I'm here at home to assure you that I'm doing well in President Ruto's government, contrary to what propagandists are saying that I'm powerless. You're going to tell people, hey, I'm doing well. I'm not powerless.
I'm okay.
Yeah, the propaganda. So Ministers Ruku, Murkomen, Kabogo, Ahome, and Duale have been on the campaign trail despite a High Court ruling that was delivered in June. So cabinet secretaries and house speakers are once again under scrutiny of the involvement in early partisan political campaigns. What? 2027 is when?
But people got in 2027 is 2 years, 2 years and 3 months away.
Imagine we're in September. Imagine September, October, November, December. Then you're counting another one whole financial year.
It's 2 years.
And we're going to continue this business.
And then for another 8 months.
And then another 8 months.
Yeah.
Tulirogwa na nani? You know what I've just said in Swahili? You know, yeah?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I know.
50,000 ghost learners exposed. Taxpayers lose 1.1 billion annually. So an audit by the Ministry of Education has uncovered more than 50,000 ghost learners in secondary schools across the country in a scandal in which taxpayers have potentially lost billions of shillings. Trust me, this money has not been lost. It's gone to people's accounts. And there is a possibility the figure will rise since the audit is still ongoing. I imagine.
Hey, it's not funny, man.
Yes.
Jeez.
Why TSC requires master's degree for principals and deputies. New guidelines place greater emphasis on academic qualification. So you want to become principal of a school, you want to become a deputy, then master's degree is your bare minimum.
What are they? It's going to be...
Just say it. So the Teacher Service Commission has announced that principals of secondary schools and their deputies must have a master's degree in a relevant subject area under the competence-based education framework. Head teachers of primary schools and their deputies will also be required to have a bachelor's degree in education. Okay. The new guidelines place greater emphasis on academic qualifications, professional development, and leadership experience. In order to be appointed as a principal, a teacher must hold a bachelor's degree in education or an equivalent recognized qualification. They must also hold a master's degree in a relevant subject and have demonstrated competence as both a classroom teacher and a deputy head or equivalent in post-primary institution. That's part of what the document reads. It further states that a teacher must have served as a deputy head or an equivalent position in a post-primary institution for at least 3 years. The document says that the teacher should have successfully undertaken the relevant teachers' professional development (TPD) modules and have meet the requirements of Chapter 6 of the Constitution. Initially, a master's degree was not a requirement for a teacher to be promoted to the position of principal or deputy. However, it was an added advantage for those who were promoted to chief principals of national schools at job group D5.
Yeah.
Interesting there?
Very.
So state to pay share contributions for the poor. Remember I told you what the president said? Yes.
So there's going to be a means testing again for figuring out who the poor are. Or what is going to happen?
Good question. So President William Ruto has announced a government plan to cushion low-income Kenyans from Social Health Authority SHA contributions. More than 1.5 million citizens unable to pay the charges will now have their contributions covered by the government. Speaking in Mombasa yesterday, during the commissioning of the 6 billion commuter railway linking the standard gauge railway terminus at Miritini to Mombasa Island, Ruto said the initiative is central to achieving universal health care. He announced that the plan would begin tomorrow.
Sorry.
And warned health facilities against demanding cash from patients, cautioning the offenders risk deregistration and prosecution.
I'm sorry.
I knew it.
I just have a question, teacher.
Yeah, go ask.
Okay. What exactly is happening tomorrow? this now paying for folks who are on the scale of...
Yeah, the state is going to pay for the 1.5 million citizens who are unable to pay the charges.
Okay, excuse me.
Yes.
Again, my trusty calculator is out here.
Good. Your phone, it has full charge, eh?
Yeah.
Gonna be a busy morning.
So,
yes,
1.5 million. And so we're saying that, folks, we've already known that on this spectrum, what Shah is asking them to pay is 300 shillings a month. Abi?
Yes.
Or is it 600? No, it's 300, Bob?
Well, that was what the government said. 300 will be the minimum. But from our conversations in Spice Baraza,
they need 600.
It is 600 and above.
All right, so let's assume that the government is going to pay the 600 shillings per month that is needed. We already know that should you present yourself to a health facility in need of care and they go through all your registration and et cetera, they're going to want you to pay a year up front.
Of course.
Okay, so if we're looking at 600 Bob times 12 is 7,200 shillings.
Yes.
Okay.
That's one person.
That's one person.
Good.
Now, the government has already earmarked that they're going to pay for 1.5 million people. One
times 7,200.
1.5 millions. Is that? Yes, it is. Times 7,200 is...
The zeros have hit the other corner of your calculator.
So, that is 10.8 billion shillings. 10.8 billion shillings for a year. Yes, for a year. For 1.5 million, and they're going to start paying this money tomorrow Friday,
the 19th the plan will begin tomorrow.
I want to ask you, I think it is a great thing that the vulnerable in the society should not be put to the difficult position of sorting things out, especially when it comes to your basics of healthcare, feeding and education. Do you understand? However, is there a place where this money just sits and then you can go and, withdraw it from here? When he was making this announcement, was there a plan? Had they sat in the number crunching room and said, okay, guys, we can put together some 10 billion. And so then when I go to launch this commuter rail in Mombasa tomorrow, I'm going to make the announcement. Okay? So are we ready? Then everybody says yes. Without that happening, do you know how very difficult it is to then actually have this thing start opening up tomorrow? I want to believe that there has been a divorce from this euphoria that you get when you see a crowd of people and you want to promise them something based on an ill that you have seen in society. I want to believe that there's a divorce from that. And that this announcement, when he was launching this thing yesterday, was as a result of meetings that they had burning the midnight oil. And they said, you know what, guys, we have to make this better. Because they listened to the Spice Baraza the other day, for example, and they said, Nana, guys, we cannot continue like this. We have to make it better. So we had planned for miscellaneous and emergency funds. This is what emergency and miscellaneous funds should actually do. Now, without such a plan, you have no business ring fencing funds that could have been used for something else to do. And it's not into saying it. It's the law. It's Parliament.
Yes.
It's the executive. You are the ones who have said this is the way that we are going to operate. So if there is no money to actually do this, I would have prayed that that promise would not have been made. Because can you imagine? And then who are these 1.5 million people? Is there a registrar? Yes, I believe there's a register somewhere of the most vulnerable. How do you select? Is it 1.5 million people in urban areas? Is it taking a spectrum from around the country? Who is going to benefit and who will not benefit? I can be poor today and a little bit wealthy tomorrow. What's the metrics that you're going to use to decide all of this? And I'm assuming or hoping that in the Situation Room, literally, that is where they had that conversation and they said, okay, Mr. President, we actually have some funds we can pull from here, and here, and we can make this thing happen. But bereft of that, to make that announcement out there, I don't know, man. It seems like we are just hurtling down this slippery slope.
Can I tell you another angle to this story? This money is there.
Okay.
This money is there.
Meanwhile,
let me tell
70
you,
billion
this
shillings
is tomorrow.
to hospitals.
Yes. So tomorrow is when this plan, you said whether they had a plan. See, they call it the plan.
Okay.
So within this plan, tomorrow, so we need then to start looking at the clock. So tomorrow, how much money has been released? But the other angle to this is this money is somewhere. And what's going to happen is we'll come back.
Yeah.
Because the warning from this statement was health facilities that are demanding cash from patients have been cautioned. And offenders are going to risk the registration and prosecution.
How is it an offense to demand for money that you pay, that you owe?
No, you've already given a disclaimer. So the disclaimer is, so if the money is then released, catch my train of thought.
Oh, yeah, I'm following
If the
you.
money is then released, this 10.8 billion, if that money is released somehow, because the ministry is, according to this story, the Ministry of Health is estimating that more than 1.5 million Kenyans are poor to pay SHA. I don't know what criteria they used.
That's I'm asking.
Okay,
Yeah.
but this is the Ministry of Health that has said that. So the president now comes in and says this plan is to safeguard the vulnerable and the poor. And that's what the government is going to now pay. So if this money is released and it doesn't reach the intended poor and the vulnerable, what's going to happen? We go into the third thing. The third thing will be prosecution. Let's investigate which institutions, which persons took this money.
But Dennis,
see, that will be 1 year.
Dennis, my dear, how will the people who are supposed to receive the money know that they have not received if they didn't know they were to receive in the first place? Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's what I'm even saying. Is there a list somewhere? Is there a master list? Are the people who present themselves to hospitals say, I'm on the list I'm on the list of the 1.5 million? This is my thing, that it is shrouded in such uncertainty that it almost seems as though it's orchestrated for just that. That I can make a promise. All these other details that you and I are asking at this moment will never come into play because it wasn't planned for. Let me just come out and say it.
Yeah.
That you're worried about people making and crunching the numbers, but they're not. Because there was no plan in the first place to have it done. And that's the problem that we have. So people will not be upset because they were never on the thing in the first place and they never had any idea that they would be paid for. What are we doing? And it's the top of the hour. But you're right. Who bewitched us, man? Good morning. It's 7 o'clock.
Spice up your life. The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning. This is the news wire. Hamla Ubaga. The government has released 3.5 billion in arrears to doctors after a 7-year wait. The amount is the second and final batch of the 2017-2024 basic salary arrears. The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union Secretary General Davji Atela confirmed the move, saying members are already receiving payments in their respective bank accounts. He said that after 7 years of relentless pursuit, the second and final batch of the 2017-2024 basic salary arrears has finally been released. Atela said the milestone crowns their struggle for the full implementation of the 2017 CBA and the return to work agreement signed in May last year. The fate of 8 of the 24 by-elections scheduled for next month for November 27th this year is uncertain after the Electoral and Boundaries Commission admitted that it lacked the funds to conduct the elections. IBC Chairman Erastus Ethekon says the National Assembly has only allocated funds to manage 16 by-elections, putting the Commission at a crossroads as time is running out. IBC is also targeting 4.4.
We have a total of 24 by-elections. The ones that are funded are 16. And the total budget for that by-election, those 16 by-elections, 788 million. For the 8 remaining ones that have not been funded, amounts to 258 million. So in terms of total cost, we are looking at 1,046 million for the purpose of by-election.
And IBC is also targeting 4.4 million Gen Z to register as voters in the registration exercise that begins this year in an effort to increase the number of voters in the country from 22.5 million to 29 million. In total, IBC is targeting to register 6.3 million new voters. However, the Kong said IBC continues to consult with the National Treasury to secure funds to conduct the elections, but also the registration exercise for the new voters.
And we sought, of course, a meeting with the Treasury, and we raised the matter of the additional aid. And they assured us that they'll be giving us funding for those ones as well. And so we are working with them. There's a bit of back and forth. I hope they will unlock that very quickly, because the timelines are sensitive, because election is a time-sensitive event.
Health CS Aidan Duale has assured Kenyans that the national government is fixing the health sector. Speaking in Nyandarua, Duale further encouraged Kenyans to upload the Afya Yangu app in order to easily access their health history during hospital visits.
When you are sick, you have the party does not treat you. Does the party treat you? When you are sick, in fact, you can stay with illiteracy. You can decide not to go to school and live, but you cannot live with the sickness. So fixing the health care system, delivery system here of our country is a priority for this government. Today, Kenyans can access health care. We are going to the hospital and we are going to see the latest CT scan. Now, people used to go to Nakuru to go and do a CT scan. This system will make sure you don't carry. I want you to upload the app called Afya Yangu. It's for the patients on your phone. You don't need to carry bash.
The CS also promised to work on the patient-to-staff ratio by addressing the shortage by utilizing the skills of trained medics.
We will continue strengthening KMTC by modernizing the infrastructure, by recruiting more lecturers to improve the staff-to-student ratio, and by equipping our campuses to meet today's healthcare needs. These investments are crucial as they confront the rising non-communicable diseases, while also battling infectious disease like tuberculosis and malaria, and being very proactive for the future health challenges.
That's the News Wire. I'm Leo Baga. Remember to continue enjoying the EPL matches across our radio stations. That is Berur, Radio Maisha, and right here on SpiceFM.
SpiceFM, Nakuru.
Good morning, and I love your show.
Thank you.
Having come from a Kikuyu radio background, I migrated to Spice because of the content.
I was born in a slum, but somehow I got a break in life. So sometimes when you see the sweating coming out because of the passion and whatever it is, behind the noise, there are people, and we share the same umbilical cord.
It shouldn't be like that. I am so disappointed. We used to tell Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga that he's doing policy of conmanship, and even President Uhuru Kenyatta, serikali hii ndio iko na conmanship ya hali ya juu. You cannot promise people that you reduce tax, then you double.
In politics, there is the issue of trust. For you to turn around and then stab the same people who gave you that trust, there is no other level of dishonesty. Imabo, utaona dunia tu.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
If we just gloss over issues and hope that time heals, then we might find that in generations to come, we might be back at the same situation. And the whole thing is born of stolen elections.
Spice.
When it comes to the decisions you make, you must be independent. There's no way you can allow one institution to dictate to you how you're going to conduct your operations, how you're going to decide cases. It's a no.
When you weaken the institution to the point where they cannot take action, then you realize that politicians have to come up and now start dealing with the issues.
That conversation has to die. Our politicians do not like the hard stuff. We must insist on the path of doing things right, whether popular or unpopular.
Money changes hands. That is a fact. If you have political goodwill at the highest top, like in Rwanda, then corruption will be an issue of the past. If you don't have political goodwill at the top, we will pass laws, we will amend laws, we will continue passing laws and re-amending laws, and nothing will happen.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
One of the things that are ending our country is negative ethnicity. You find you as a state officer, instead of thinking as a Kenyan, you think like a tribal person.
Let me tell you something. The biggest problem we have had in this country is a leadership deficit. There is nothing that you are going to do in the process of change if you are not a risk taker. So you really have to pursue your vision to a logical conclusion and even be ready to step on people's toes.
When it comes to the economy, you can run away with it. They say statistics are like bikinis. They reveal a lot, but they conceal the vitals. And so government people would throw statistics at you and tell you they're revealing a lot of information to you, but it's really concealing the real vitals.
We need to get out of that, because when we want to grow our democracy, one basic thing that really requires to be understood by the political class, by all of us, is institutions are critical.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Good morning, and here we are at 8 minutes after 7 o'clock. This is the Situation Room. It's Kenya's biggest conversation on this Thursday morning. Glad that you can be here with us as we get into things today. Our live streams are up on YouTube, Facebook, and on X, keeping things moving, and our audience on KTN as we continue this conversation. Good to have you with us. Ndu and Dennis with you today as we get into a number of things. All that glitters isn't gold. That's what the statement usually is, or that's what, is it a proverb or is it a saying? That you may then double click and you'll find that what you expected is not what the case is underneath. That's the conversation that we shall be having this morning. And as we get into it, glad that you can be in the room with us. Odhiambo Brian Otieno is a researcher and communication strategist. He's been here on in the room before, but today wearing the same hat, talking on a very, very interesting subject that we're going to talk about today. Good morning.
Good morning, dude. Long time.
Indeed, it has been. Are you well?
I'm well. Nice to see you.
Good to see you too. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Understanding gold and money laundering and its impacts on the economy. And probably today what we're going to do is probably try to understand this dragnet and how it actually happens in and out of the country. Kenya being a conduit for a lot of this and how it actually happens, for us to get an understanding of some of these things that we see and hear. And even as we do get into that, I want to welcome you today with today's proverb, which comes out of the Benin Republic, Benin, as many people would pronounce it. And so this is what the proverb is. As you know, a country in West Africa, part of, I guess, the remnants of what was the Dahomey Kingdom, and still then today partly Francophone, partly Anglophone, but mostly Francophone. And the proverb goes like this: a man who goes to hunt and sees some fruit will eat it instead. A man who goes to hunt and sees some fruit will eat it instead. What do you think about that?
A man who goes to hunt and sees some fruit will eat it instead. Yeah, because the man went to look for something and he got something. And so the immediate need at that moment is to eat, because he didn't go to hunt the fruit, most definitely. He went to hunt for animals. We hunt for animals, moving things.
Yes.
But you find something there that is readily available. It is the unintended consequence of your hunt. And so you will find yourself engaging in consumption.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think that's my basic understanding.
Oh, it's great.
It's a good interpretation.
It's
not right or wrong.
Absolutely. Your opinion can't be right or wrong.
Yeah, thank you.
Cases of fake gold fraudsters continue to rise despite a myriad of arrests by the DCI. Investigators can now reveal that scammers, some purporting to be from the DRC, to authenticate the source of the precious metal, collude with rogue lawyers, police officers and officials from customs, immigration and banks to fleece the bemused traders of their multi-million dollars. That's the background of this issue, that we do see that there are certain countries, especially in this belt. We're looking at Sudan, we're looking at the DR Congo, and we're looking at gold, leaving those countries, trying to make their way to the Gulf. Now, this gold doesn't just grow legs and move to other countries, it is moved by people. We also know that gold is not in the air, it's in the ground. So, things exist, mines exist. There is, at the very least, some order and infrastructure to allow this gold to be mined. After it has been mined, we want to understand what happens when then it gets to people who are then selling it to folks with deep pockets, whether they are resident here or whether they're in other countries. Two things are happening. That there are scams that are going on, so people lose their money, or that a very precious resource for countries, again, Kenya could be one of them, Sudan, another one, and the DR Congo, these precious resources that could essentially be used to build economies are leaving the shores of Africa. We want to understand what's going on, Brian, and you're here with us this morning to give us some insights. Tell us about this conduit. How does it actually work?
So first of all, let me lay the context of why I'm aware of this gold business. It's because myself I've been hired as a consultant on the question of communication, helping to do benchmarking for a gold mining company that is prospecting in Kenya. Currently they're in Kakamega and Ramula in Game. This is the last year, and I went to Singida because I've lived in Tanzania before in the year 2012, and I worked in a gold mine back then at a place called Nyamongo. Nyamongo is in North Mara of Tanzania, and they were working with a very big South African gold mining company. So when we took these people to Tanzania, we were basically trying to understand what is the gold in Kenya, its level, the policies around it, and the extraction formula. Kenya has no strong policies. Kenya has no proper sale points, because in Tanzania, for example, when gold is extracted, there's a central point of sale. Unlike in Kenya, where it is still artisanal mining, which means the very small miners that we hear of gold pits collapsing every other day. So with that, I came to understand the fracas that is going on. This is actually a fracas. It's not as small as we may think it is, because Kenya still doesn't have, as I've said, large-scale mining of gold. And so it is impossible for anybody in Kenya to purport to be selling 550 kilograms of gold, like I've seen.
Is it because we don't have enough gold in Kenya?
We do have enough gold in Kenya, but we don't have the scale of mining that is being purported by the gold standards that they're saying 550 kilograms, 1,000 kilograms. Nobody can do that. Because even the company I consulted for last year, they did tell me that even in Tanzania, in Singida specifically, they don't produce that kind of gold in a year, 550 kilograms.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Okay.
So is it a question of capacity?
Yes.
To mine?
Yes.
The gold is there.
Yes.
But is the capacity to mine it that is not there?
That's right. We don't have the capacity to mine it yet, because we don't have, at this moment, anybody who is doing any gold business in Kenya is basically prospecting. We are not yet at extraction.
Okay.
So even the artisanal miners are still considered prospectors. They're not
really?
Yes, they're not mining. They're not extracting yet, because for extraction there must be policies around it. There must be compensation policies, because how are you going to extract gold where people are living? You must have an evacuation policy where how are you going to compensate these guys that are living on these lands where the gold is being done? Because gold is mined in two ways. There's open shaft, and then there's the one where you go underground. And the one that is most preferred is open shaft, where we dig a very big pit that could be from here to CBD or even beyond. And for you to do that, then you're going to require a lot of work to be done. So anybody that you see selling gold in Kenya is a conduit of gold that comes from Sudan. Sudan has gold, and the mining is real there.
Do they have policies there?
They do have they have always had policies, but the war then has taken the warlords now to have very small pieces of land where everybody is now extracting their own piece of gold or their own gold. The same to DRC Congo. Of course, you and me know what happens in DRC. So this gold that comes from DRC and Sudan, of course, they don't have proper financial flows. some of these countries are suffering from embargoes, like Sudan. They can't operate on some amounts of money. So they find ways of then transporting this gold to be sold. So in Kenya, of course, there are genuine businessmen, like those who sell jewelry, which means they've gotten it in the right way. But most of these gentlemen who we see at the DCI offices every other day, holding the billboards or the placards written their names and attempt to defraud.
Under charge, yeah.
Yes, under charge. These guys do not do genuine gold business. They don't. That's why they are actually at the DCI.
Okay.
And most investors who are coming in, they're coming in to do this business, but they're being conned at their point of greed. And that is what maybe those who are listening may need to understand, that for gold business, you'll be conned at your point of greed and not at your point of need, because you don't do your due diligence. And to understand that there's no policy framework, proper policy framework in Kenya today in terms of gold sale, purchase and sale.
What are you saying, Odhiambo, that anybody who is involved in the gold trade in Kenya today, that there is an element of illegality?
There's an element of illegality to the extent that somebody tells you they can transport for you big chunks of gold. There is no framework around transportation and sale of gold in Kenya. It doesn't exist. And if there is one, then maybe someday you need to ask the Ministry of Mining, headed by Joho, to come here and tell you. Because I remember connecting my client even to the minister himself, so that they can explore how do they develop proper policies around this issue of gold mining and gold sale.
Why don't we have a policy on it?
It's because we haven't paid a special focus onto mining per se. We haven't paid a special focus.
But wait.
We know very well that we have these deposits.
Brian, yes. Just a minute. You live in Kenya, right?
Of course, yeah.
We all live in Kenya.
Well, at least today.
Yeah. Anywhere where there's potential to make money.
Yes.
If there are people so ingenious to get things done, are Kenyans. Anywhere in the world. So there's a prospect where in certain parts of this country, you can actually get gold deposits, mine. And there is failure from government to come up with policies and frameworks on how to actually extract that to make money.
Yes. That's what I'm telling you.
They can't see the money value.
Let me tell you something, Okari. Maybe there's a small bit that you're missing out here.
Okay.
Kenyans have this issue of eating. Everybody wants to eat. And this eating mentality then brings about the question of quick money.
Okay.
The process of mining gold is not easy. One, it is very capital intensive.
Okay.
Very capital intensive. Number two, there's a lot of processes that go about gold mining. The same to extracting any other mineral deposit that is below the earth. And not very many Kenyans, especially those in the policy-making tables, are having the knowledge. I said the other time somewhere that most of these parliamentarians who should be actually enacting these policies or the laws do not understand what public policy means. They don't even understand what's a policy. If you ask them what is a policy, they don't understand what a policy is. And so they're not able to make these laws. And even if they are, gold mining cannot be done by government. It then has to be done by private people. Let me give you an example. The other day in Turkana, we were having oil, yeah? And we've been told Turkana has the very large wells or big deposits of oil. And there was a company that came here and was trying to extract. What happened? Why did it stop? The selfish interests that are at play when it comes to issues of extracting minerals or these valuables underground, it's too high.
So just before we get to the grid, because that part is very interesting and I'm really keen on that. In Kenya, where do we find gold today?
So gold is spread
whether
across...
explored or not?
Yes, gold is spread across the country. The one that I am aware of that I've consulted with or for, one is Ikolomani in Kakamega.
Okay.
There's very huge gold deposit there. Ramula has the purest gold quality in East Africa. Ramula in Game. This is after Akala. I don't know that you know Game very well.
I just want a quick question in there. So when we say East Africa, are we including Sudan and DR Congo?
Of course. In terms of gold purity, the purest one is in Ramula.
Okay.
This has been tested. Okay. Yeah, but So we also have it in Makalda. We have it in Rongo and lately Oyugis, where I come from. Yeah. And there are these people from the Asian world, you know them, the ones who are here in large numbers. Yeah. They're now pitting camps there. And they're doing a lot of extraction per se.
If we have gold deposits in this region, in these areas that you've just mentioned.
Oh, Taita Taveta also has it, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, from what we see in the news and what we get from the ground, we always see very young men, young women, and at times even children get into these caves. They're digging, they're carrying. They come out with mud mixed with sand, mixed with all these things. Then they go to the rivers. Then they try to get the gold. So it's like almost like pebbles or gold dust. That's a crude way of extracting. So you're saying, in order to extract that gold, it's capital intensive. What does it require?
So one, I don't know whether you're asking what it requires in terms of a private miner or...
It doesn't matter, whoever.
Okay. So for you to extract gold, number one, you have to do something called prospecting, which means there must be history of some suspicion that this place is on the gold belt. For example, there's a gold belt right from Sudan. It crosses through Nyanza, then into Mwanza in Tanzania. It's a gold belt. It's very huge. And so geologists know that for example, once you understand this place lies along the gold belt, then below you can now prospect and see what happens there. You remember a few days ago in Rongo, when they were repairing a road in Rongo, they found gold deposits just by the road.
Okay.
Yeah. And when they took it for test, they actually found it is actually
gold.
Today, Okari, I know you're an investigative journalist.
Yes.
If you take your time and go to Rongo, there are rat holes under the ground that have been there since time of colonialists in Kenya, where people are exploring gold and extracting in Rongo. And those
but they're doing that using crude methods?
Of course, crude methods, yeah. So once you prospect, then the next point is to then go and acquire a license for extraction.
Okay.
And this license for extraction is given by the ministry. Okay.
What's the cost of this license?
Of course, I'm not sure of the exact cost, but I know it is quite costly.
Okay.
Gold is not easy, is not cheap. Then there should be, what we lack now is the eating formula. Let me give an example with Tanzania.
You're saying what we lack.
Right now, I'm just eating.
Yes. So let me give an example with Tanzania. Whenever you've been given the license, because there's the artisanal miners, we have the medium level miners or small miners, then we have the big miners. So like my client was a medium miner. Medium miners.
Artisanal miners are these ones who go with the...
They go with the sarurus,
yes,
into the hole.
Yes.
Yeah, and they go... It's very crude, basically.
Yes.
And actually, they never actually reach the core, because where the core of the gold deposits are is far below the earth that you lack oxygen. That's why it's preferred that you go with the open pit mining. Okay. So this artisanal miner, you could be digging, let's say, 265 feet and reach maybe the minor gold deposit. Then that is something for you, because you'll extract, let's say,
a few grams,
400 or 500 grams.
Okay.
And then that will be it. That pit then is abandoned. Then you go to the next one. It is very costly for them.
Okay.
So in Tanzania, I was telling you, they have a license for the artisanal miners. They're allowed to have a combined license for like 14, 15 people under one license to extract, because it has been their way for a long time.
This is the way of distributing eating.
Yes.
Okay.
Distributing eating. Okay? Because now the government then takes care of them, that in case of anything, then they are recognized that these are actual, because sale of gold in Tanzania is by a central point. It's not fragmented.
When you say central point,
central point means once you have extracted the gold, you declare to the government, this is the one that we have obtained.
So it's regulated?
It's regulated.
Okay.
So the government is aware the gold that has been extracted from Singida or from North Mara or from Geita, which is one of the biggest mines in Tanzania, we now know that we've extracted 100 kilograms of gold in Tanzania. So then this is how we are going to sell it. And there's a clear way of selling it where customs is involved. In Kenya, customs is not even involved in gold sale. Because,
really?
Yes, because where is it? Have you ever had customs do something about gold in Kenya today? Who pays the tax on gold? So Kenya is a safe haven, quote unquote, for those who want to smuggle gold. And that is why...
Out
of Kenya.
In and out.
Yeah. So Kenya is a corridor, basically. You know what a corridor is?
Yes,
Kenya is a corridor where gold comes from wherever it comes from. Rwanda, not really Rwanda. Rwanda is also a corridor. Congo, DRC, Sudan. Then it is passed through Kenya because Kenya has no laws. There's porosity.
When you say no laws, okay.
Or even if we have laws, the implementation is very weak. Okay, and so they find this easy way of smuggling it in this way. One, I have 10 kilograms of gold from DRC. I declare to customs, let's say, we want to do the legal way, that I'm only having gold worth $2 million. But in reality, this gold I have is worth $10 million.
So who are you declaring this to?
So you declare
customs.
to let's say you're declaring to the customs.
Okay.
Then the remaining gold that is worth 80 million or $8 million just passes because we have the eating problem. Okay? That's one. Two, it could be that you're having actual gold from Congo or from Sudan, and it is not able to pass through customs. Okari is the one who is there. I've done my research on Okari, and I know Okari has some loan somewhere that is disturbing him. I take Okari and recruit him into my program. And I ensure that whenever it is coming in, mzigo ikifika Okari we funga macho, mzigo ipite. Okay? Then there's now the other one. Now that's on the legitimate gold traders. Now there's the other one which is the illegitimate gold traders, which is now where we are, the scammers. So scammers, majorly people who have worked with the legitimate gold traders.
So scammers know the rules, know the game.
They know the game very well. They've worked with the legitimate gold traders. Okay, because of course we have the legitimate smugglers. Let me, for purposes of this discussion, let's have them as the legitimate gold scammers or the legitimate gold traders. Okay, then now we have these assistants who hang around them, who know their networks. So they come and tell you, Okari, you know, last time we're dealing with Ndu, she gave you that gold at a very expensive price. I can give you it cheaper. In fact, I have a load that is coming from DRC. And what you need to do is to deposit so that we clear with them. Then you receive your gold. It will be fine.
So you pay upfront.
You pay upfront. That's why I said you're always conned at your point of greed and nothing else. So for you, you are making extreme profits from this assistant. So you give the assistant the money, and then you find yourself without gold, or they tell you, okay, go and wait. Then they send you sandukus. You've seen the sandukus that have tricycle.
Yes. I've been involved.
or stones. They send you those sandukus. When you see them, you're like, no, but this is not the gold that we agreed. But you know, when you came, they even gave you a sample, a real gold sample, that you went and tested, and you found out that this was real gold.
And they can get it from anywhere.
Of course, they have them. They have real gold that they've smelted already. So they give you and tell you, go and test with whoever. And majorly the person they recommend to you is normally part of the racket.
Okay, my head is spinning. Just to be able to understand. So somebody who's come from outside the country, or it could even be somebody who's in here and say, I want to get into the business, right? Or somebody who's in the business and says, okay, fine, Kenya is a location whereby I can get, because I know that folks are passing through or otherwise. I come to you, Odhiambo, with a sample. Small sample and a little, because we know it's precious stuff. So you don't walk around with gold bars. You're walking around with a little bit of a sample, and it's actually authentic.
Yeah,
this thing is authentic. I have presented it to you, and then you say, okay, well, if you have it, and I tell you, well, you know, Odhiambo, there's much more where that came from.
Yeah.
So now let's start to deal. But I actually don't have large deposits.
Yeah, you don't.
Okay. So what is my intention?
Your intention is basically to obtain.
Okay.
So you want to obtain the money because, and this is where they exploit these guests who are coming to Kenya. And these guests should know that Kenya is a good place, first of all. We could be having our issues, but we are not con men. Okay? And this is perhaps why I'm talking about this, because so many people are losing so much money. So you have the real gold, the piece that you obtain, because you have money. You obtained it from your former boss or whoever that was. And you give this sample to this new guest, this investor who wants to buy these huge amounts of gold, because gold has very good business in Dubai, very good business in the Americas, very good business across the world. People use gold for different things. It's a wealth standard. It is used for so many things.
I mean, it's used everywhere. It's used in cosmetics. It's used in food.
Everywhere. So gold has a very high value.
Yeah.
And you always want capitalism, unfortunately, focuses more on making profits at the expense of anybody and anything. So even if it means getting the whole 100% profit minus following the laws, then they will do it. So you're given that goal, you go and test it. Once you test it, you say, okay, fine, now let's transact. Because remember, these are people you've met before. Or the person introducing you is very legitimate. It's an Okari, it's Ndu, it's Odiambo. Somebody who is very legitimate in the business, somebody who you know introduces you. So first of all, they've bought
into the idea, okay.
Your security. So now you know, if I'm dealing with Ken, because I've been given Ken by Okari, I trust Okari. That's fine. And by the time you're going to do the due diligence, they have the customs people who are not actually the customs people. Do you get my point?
Fake custom people.
Okay. They even have the KRA stickers. And even the KRA person, they even have the police with them who are not the police. In some instances, the actual police. It's a very interesting racket. Okay? So you see these guys and you say, this thing is real. This is the custom person, this is the mining official, this is the police. And you're given even escorts. When you arrive at the airport, you are escorted by the police. My friend, this is how it happens. You're escorted from the airport.
Yes.
You're given escort by the police. You're taken to where you are sleeping. Tomorrow you are taken to an office somewhere. It's in Lavington, it's in Kileleshwa, it's in Runda. And you arrive at the office, it looks serious. These guys dress sharply. They're not dressed in dilapidated coats like mine.
Cars.
They drive very expensive cars, and it is convoys. And they even have, what do you call it?
Police escort with
the
sirens.
Police escort with sirens. And it is a spectacle. You cannot imagine that this kind of person can have so much power. And also, they pose with the most, what we call photo ops in journalism. They post with the most prominent political figures. They post with the president. They post with the deputy president. They post with they post with the officers who are in charge of these things. They take photos, so they show you, this is my friend. In some instances, you guys
get to them if you need.
In some instances, you remember one of our leaders today, who is sitting on one of the arms of government, was involved in some scam in Dubai.
Yes,
you remember.
Yeah.
So if it is at that level, it is bad. It's very deep. So they post with these people. You look at this person, you say this person is actually legitimate, because there's no way I can meet Okari and fail to know who Okari is. In case of anything, I've been told, if anything goes wrong, be sure you are covered, because
Okari is here.
Okari is here. So, end to end, I call it 360 plus 1, you are covered. So you're told, you deposit the money, because this thing is not, there's no proper way of doing it. You deposit your money, because there's black market, we have to then pay them so that they release the product. You fly back to where you're coming from.
But let me ask, Brian, the level of scamming is so high, and I'm just wondering, when you talk about due diligence, in 2019, there was a very big report, and it was splashed in the dailies. It was a big story. You know what I'm referring to. This was the fake gold deal that involved the royal family in Dubai.
Yes.
So if the royal family in Dubai can be scammed, and they can come to Kenya to follow up on what has happened to their gold. There was a time when Kabila flew from
DRC and came here to follow his gold.
Follow his own gold. This is the president from there. This is the royal family in Dubai that can afford to do due diligence.
Yes.
If they can get scammed, and at the time there was a mention of over 400 million in Kenya shillings.
No. It was far much more than 400 million.
It was over 400 million.
By far.
So if the deal then involved gold scamming, and the transportation, I remember the conversation was it was transported through Kenya, possibly through JKIA, and then reports claim that that fake gold consignment reached the royal family, and they're like, we've been scammed, and they had to follow through the president. How did that even happen?
Because this is Kenya, and I said the biggest problem we have is the porosity and the lack of morals in terms of following up what needs to be done. There is this thing that is popular now being called wash. And I remember sometimes in 2022, there's this gentleman called Matiangi who said, what he has seen as the internal security minister is that we have a lot of wash people who are going up into the offices, high offices. And unfortunately, that's where we are. So basically, Okari, if you can see the Emirates of Dubai being conned, that level of gold, us young people, especially young men who are trying to eke a living, and we find an opportunity, what do? We go for it. Because it's already accepted by the head of the fish, which is rotten. So the body is just following.
It's just following in following the direction.
Very easy.
There are many cases, and unfortunately, even as we have this conversation, many more of these cases now start to come to mind. We did see that the former registrar of the judiciary also was involved in a case where there was an alleged gold scam that took place. Again, sticking on this precious metal, whereby it was said that her and her son were or were not involved in conning a certain businessman and their entity of hundreds of billions then when it came to gold. But if you look at it from a macro scale, that Kenya has then been flagged as a collective mule for this metal that passes through. And that's why I was so shocked at the number that you gave, that it's not possible at the moment for Tanzania, for example, to deliver 550 kilograms of gold.
Yeah.
It's not possible. But interestingly enough, from stories that we've read, over 3,000 kilograms of gold are passing through Kenya.
Yes.
Passing through Kenya, their origin being DR Congo, being Sudan, and then finding their way to the Gulf. So who is moving this metal and who is earning from it? So if the metal is moving, then obviously it's on the chatter. It's kind of like the dark web. It's on the chatter, scores of a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it also is giving rise to folks who are saying, well, the gold is moving anyway, but here's an opportunity for us to scam people. So how are all of these things playing one to the other? There's gold that's passing through. We can't deny that. The numbers that we're seeing of 3,000 have come from European Union reports. 3,000 kilograms. Where is it coming from and where is it going if it's not on the books?
So as I said before, of course, there is gold coming through Kenya because Kenya is a corridor that has no proper regulations or enforcement of the regulations that exist in gold trade. So it's a very easy ground. It's a very safe haven, as I said, where gold passes through. And the big boys are involved, so many big boys. And I'm not afraid to say this, that so many of them who I even know personally are actually involved in gold business. And on the legitimate end, it's okay. I would say it's okay because at least they are giving gold, actual gold. But it's not okay for the younger ones to scam. The people have proven that they can do the business gold, it's fine, they can proceed with it. We can go in terms of enhancing our policy. But the beauty is, for any law to come to be, we always need some level of crisis. We always need some level of crisis. So it's beautiful. Whatever is happening is painful but beautiful. And I want to choose to look at the beautiful side. That it is painful, it's happening, but then Parliament will be awoken and the policymakers will be awakened, and they will want now to make proper policies. Because right now, FATF...
But those who are involved in Parliament itself.
Of course. And you are happy, as I am happy, that in 2027, 80% of that Parliament is going home because they lack understanding of what's going on anyway. So... once we reach there, we'll be able to have this proper enforcement, because right now, Kenya has been grey listed as a money laundering high-risk country.
By the same European Union reports.
By the same European Union reports. And this is FATF. I think this is the Financial Action Task Force that takes care of grading countries in terms of who is safe to engage with. Kenya today, as you have written here in your paper today, I'm so happy I talked about this just the other day.
Shylock economy.
Shylock economy. Why are we even talking about Kenya being a Shylock economy? It's because the grey listing has pushed the banks not to lend the common man. Because the common man is now a high risk, is not a safe person to lend to.
There's no security or
There's no
collateral.
security. And in fact, for you today to get a loan from the bank, you'll need a lot of security, which you don't have.
And the impact of being grey listed,
Yes.
there's a comment that came through, I think last week but one, where somebody was saying, as students who are studying abroad, what then it means when they're paying school fees, they are forced to have a lot of documentation as a result of this. So the impact is not something that is for the rich or the high and mighty and powerful.
Yeah.
It reaches even those who are not aware what's
Yes.
happening in Kenya.
Yes.
So that's the impact of this grey listing.
So now, from the gold scamming that has made us be grey listed, okay, the impact of the gold scamming plus the money, the narcotics money that comes into the country, and also the high seas piracy money that comes into the country, our economy is artificial at this moment. Artificial to mean our economy is not based on real products. Our economy is based on $1,000 millionaires. That's why they say GDP of Kenya has improved to 7% this year. You've seen that, right? But you and me are not feeling the money.
Well, the president said yesterday that now there's money in the economy.
There's none.
They're pumping in money to do a lot of development.
There's none. There's no money in the economy. And I can tell you, even the stabilization of the shilling is actually
artificial.
Because it was 169 in 2022 when he was taking over. Then he went on some level of encouragement on the people who have the dollars and told them, you know what, sweep, bring it. So there's a small window that was opened. And I don't want to go into details, you know why, yeah? And the money there's a window that was open and the money came in and it stabilized the shilling. And
I remember everyone was offloading the dollars.
Everybody was offloading
in town. I remember in town that week. I remember in town that week.
Yes.
The forex bureaus, the kiosks you find in town, they were so overwhelmed because everybody was offloading their dollars.
Exactly.
Because of that window.
So that was it was very artificial. Okay. And still it's very artificial. It can stabilize the shilling for as long as it is in charge of stuff. But it could also go south very fast.
Brian, I have a question.
Yes.
So
because Kenya currency is based on is a fiat currency.
Okay.
I will explain.
Okay. Okay. Before that, I have a question. You say Tanzania, they have a central point when they extract this gold because they have a framework and a policy that works. So they take this gold and they declare to the government, this is how much we've extracted, and it's very, very clear the channels up to the point of sale.
Yeah.
In Kenya, you're saying we don't have that.
We don't.
So in these areas that you mentioned in Western and Nyanza, where there's gold, so these people are selling the local gold. They don't have a central point. So if somebody's extracting gold, let's say they have extracted 500 grams or even a kilo, where exactly are they taking this raw gold?
So they're the middlemen. Just like in farming, where you farm your product in Kisii, and now you want to sell your mboga. Of course, you don't have a lorry to transport your mboga to Nairobi. You don't have the distribution, for sale it's the distribution, You don't have the distribution, so you'll get somebody who has the lorry who will then bring it to Marikiti. Then the person in Marikiti will then sell it for you. And you, of course, will get your money. The same thing applies in gold. So you're an artisanal miner, you've gotten your 400 grams. It's very small, of course. It has to be into the market. It's 100 grams, I think 100 grams or 10 grams. I'm not very accurate with the figure. From the artisanal miner, it could go for 10,000 shillings.
Okay.
Yeah. The person went deep under.
So they paid 10,000 for assuming that the 10 grams.
So first of all, okay, let's go deep. So first of all, there's the guy who brings the dust from underground. That dust.
Yes.
What we call the ore.
Yeah.
So once he brings the dust, he's paid on the dust.
Before they even find out
clean.
whether there's gold or not.
Yes, he's paid on the dust. And he's paid per sack.
Okay. We got to create pictures, right? So we can understand.
Yeah.
So all that stuff that they eventually go start washing in the water.
Yes.
All that heap.
The person who brings it
The person who brings all that heap of the dust that will have gold and other things in it is paid.
It's paid per sack.
It's paid per sack of
you know
stuff
the cement sack?
Yes.
The small cement sack. So you're paid per sack.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So because I can't afford to pay you to go and explore. So we go, we call it matching up, So we say, okay, I was to pay you 600 for this, whatever. I will now pay you 300 for one sack. You go with the other sack.
Whether there's gold or not.
Yes. So you go with one sack, I remain with one sack.
Okay.
But on this one sack, I pay you 300.
Playing by chance now, let's see.
So actually it's chancing.
Okay.
So once the sack, they pay by the sack, then they're the cleaners now. The guys who wash, they're also paid a little amount. Okay? Then from there, they're the smelters. Smelters, the ones who now subjected to fire. Now the cleaning of gold.
Yes.
In the essence, purification. So as they purify, they're also paid. Now, once they purify, it will be something very small. That very small thing, the person who now takes it from the owner of the mine is now the middleman. And now they bring it to Nairobi or Kisumu or wherever. That is very small. It goes into jewelry. It doesn't have very high value.
So when it's all done, what are we talking about in terms of kilos, that whole process?
So it could be, let's say it could be 10 kilo, the whole of Western Kenya.
Okay.
And it goes into jewelry because 10 kilo is small. I mean, that is small. It's not really big. Or if the middleman is huge, then he'll sweep up all the 10 kg and fly with it to Dubai. Okay? That is possible. So these ones are doing actual work.
Okay.
These ones we have no problem with. Because they're actually doing an actual job. And it can be traced that there was an artisan who went down, there is smelters, and there was gold that was produced. That is fine. For them and for the government, the only question is that we're not able to get tax out of it. Because customs does not know even how to do this. Custom people are not properly trained on how to go about valuing gold.
So if I have gold now, let's say I have a kilo of gold, and I want to go to JKI, I want to travel to Dubai.
You'll most probably not take it to JKI.
Okay, so where are we going?
You'll most probably not take it to JKI. You'll most probably take it to Mombasa or get somebody who is chartering some private jet
to Dubai.
And
why?
Because you want to minimize the level of taxes on it.
But you've said customs have no idea what to do with this.
That's what I'm saying. So those ones, let's say you go with the 1 kg of gold.
Yeah.
And
it's in my suitcase.
It's in a suitcase.
Yes.
One, you've declared it. One, they will overcharge. Or they will charge you on the tax. But because it is gold, it is also high risk. You could be told, ebu kakando pale kwanza kidogo. There's something you want to find out. And in that kakando kwanza kidogo, you and me know what happens in Kenya.
Suitcase
inafunguliwa. Then what happens?
You're asked who are you, whatever, but in order for me to bypass the scrutiny...
So you'll have to check out more money. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say.
So that they can keep quiet on what it is.
So you will try to avoid this headache of going through these checkpoints and say, okay, you know what? Who is the person who needs to be talked to? Let's deal with that person. So we talk that person and the money and the gold.
Kando alafu napanda ndege go to Dubai. In Dubai, they don't have a lot of scrutiny.
They don't have a lot of scrutiny. And even if they have, it's a free market. For them, they want the money.
Okay.
So world stop scammers today live in Dubai. World stop scammers today. Talk about Hush Puppy, talk about who, all the ones that we've known. They are going to Dubai, and I will tell you maybe another day if we will have time on the real estate question as well. Why Dubai's real estate is doing well and why Kilimani and Lavington and Kileleshwa.
No, why another day? Please tell us now. Why wait? Because my next question was going to be these gold scammers, because they make so much money, you have to wash this money. How do they do it?
Very good. So now you have the money. So much money. In cash.
Yes.
Because you are trying to evade tax. Because, tax, when you're earning anything below 1 million shillings, you think tax is a good thing.
Wait until you get over 1 million.
Wait until you get over 1 million. Where 16% or 30% means 300,000, means 160,000. It could also mean 20 million. Okay? At that level, even in America, you've seen it. Very rich people try to avoid taxes. So what do? So this money comes in cash and they go into something called smurfing. Smurfing. So smurfing means I have so much money that is not legitimate and I want to enter it into the system. What do we do? Kenya, 83% of the economy today is informal. What would be a biashara ndogo ndogo? It's very informal. So which means if it is informal, it means they operate on what? On cash. Now, Kenya had some good invention, mobile money.
Yes.
I'm not mentioning any name and I'm not subjecting anybody to any scrutiny.
Yes.
So this mobile money is a perfect chance for smurfers or for scammers or for wash to now start cleaning their money. How? So I break the chunk. Let's say I have 200 million Kenya shillings in terms of, so it came in terms of dollars, and I want to break it down.
Okay.
Just give me an example of where you get it from. You scammed somebody, they gave me money, and I said I would give them gold, and then I disappear off the radar.
Yes, then disappear. So I have
their money.
So I have 200 million shillings in cash.
Okay, go.
So this 200 million shillings in cash, for you to deposit 1 million today in the bank, you'll have to give an invoice.
Even to deposit, yes.
Yeah, even deposit. You'll have to give an invoice. Now, who wants to have the problem to go and declare this is
200 million?
200 million. Who wants that? Who wants to be taken to DCI? Nobody wants that. So what they do is they smurf it. How do you smurf? Smurfing is basically breaking the money into small chunks and entering it into the system. So they go into this mobile money and have several agents, wherever. Okay, they could even be 100 or 200. Okay, and they give them the money. They deposit into the mobile money. Now, once it's deposited in the mobile money,
that's a lot of SIM cards, though.
Of course, you didn't see Mulot Gang have over
department.
Yeah, so they have these guys who then enter this money into mobile money. Now, once the money is entered into mobile money, it is then entered into bank accounts.
Okay.
So they have several.
Their own, or they use?
Of course, they use other bank accounts. They can't use their own. They don't want traceability. So they have things called shell company. What's a shell company? A shell company is a company without an address, but it has a bank account. So it's a shell. So it's basically a company that receives money. So it is deposited in that company. So these companies are either registered as a logistics company, they're registered as clubs, hotels, salon.
Is it true along Gong Road? Because I've heard this. A lot of these mushrooming car yards with very expensive vehicles are also conduits of
petrol stations. Very huge.
Petrol stations are big in this.
Bureau de change, very huge. It's another opportunity for smurfing. So once they break this money, then they enter it. The money gets into the bank. It is clean. Hello.
Oh, so that's the process of laundering.
So that's one.
Is that when you break it down and then you bank the money.
Yes.
If you bank it in a company, the money then has been sanitized.
Exactly. So what you are...
So nobody can ask you now, where is this money from? Because they can see it's gone through a business.
Many people don't understand why is Wash doing well in Kenya. It's because 83% of the economy is operating on cash. And they have a perfect chance into the bank, which is break into small pieces through mobile telephony, let it get into the bank, then it is wired back. Do you understand?
So that's one way. Yes, I do.
That's one way.
So that's one way.
Yes.
What's the other way?
So the other way is through bureau de change.
So all these forex bureaus in the CBDs and in the estates.
Yes, and I don't want to point to anybody, but I want to ask you, Okari, if you visit this bureau de change and look at what's happening there, this person sitting on the other side of the glass, do a sample. Who are they? I'm not going to mention names. Sawa?
No, I've done a story on this one.
You've done a story on this, so you know.
Yeah, I know.
So these guys, where are they getting these monies? This is another chance for smurfing. So they have the dollars, and then they want to sell. In fact, if you want a better exchange, you're always told, don't go to the bank, go to Forex Bureau.
Because they're cheaper.
Why are they cheaper? It's not cheap because everybody wants to make a profit. When somebody's being cheap where people are making profits, something is happening.
They have so much of it that they don't mind going at a loss.
They don't mind. What they want is to have this money get into the system because they have the dollars.
As clean money.
As clean money. At JKIA, how many times have these people been arrested at JKIA with hard cash? People who don't have any business. Hard cash, dollars, tens of thousands of dollars at JKIA. How many times? Those are the ones that have been caught. The ones that haven't been caught. Do we have airstrips in this country? Do we have jets or aircraft flying from other countries straight to airstrips instead of airports?
Yes, we do.
And what do these private aeroplanes carry? Do they carry stones?
They carry people.
They carry people. Why wouldn't somebody land at JKI or Wilson? Why are they choosing to go and land in some weird place?
Okay, what's the third way?
So the third way is now going into what is called...
real estate?
Real estate. This is the most beautiful one. This is the one that I like most. So whenever you see an economy where real estate is booming, know that there is extreme money laundering going on. Because Okari here has worked in the media since I was a child.
He's trying to...
But he's looking young, of course. You look too good for your age, bro. So, Okari today, for him to buy an apartment that is worth 23 million or 27 million, it will be an uphill task.
Yes.
Because you're a genuine man earning your
legit money.
But you find, where I stay in Lavington, so there, the apartments are going for 27 million, like the one I stay in. The person who wanted to sell it was selling at 27. I look at myself, even in 20 years, I don't see it. Okay? But there are people who are coming and buying it, especially the block where I stay. They've been bought. Okay? And so many.
They're bought in cash?
In cash.
27 million
27 million in cash. So whenever an apartment is coming up, what happens? You hear off-plan, buy off-plan. Buy off-plan Okari.
Yes.
And then when you're still struggling to get a mortgage, somebody has the actual money and comes and buys 6 apartments. Why is he buying 6 apartments? Or why is he buying 10? Or why is he buying 100?
To rent out?
No. You don't know. They're not buying to rent out.
They don't care if they rent it out.
They're buying it because they have the hard cash. What they're basically doing is getting something that they can actually liquidate later. So they have these apartments bought. They don't care
whether somebody lives in it or not.
That is the money held. That's an asset. The money is held. And that money, they can now further sell it. So now you see other small companies, real estate companies, very small companies, are now selling apartments. They're cleaning it, bro. They're cleaning it big time.
So what's the connection then with Dubai real estate?
It is now, Dubai has too much money, illicit money that has come in, that they don't know what to do with it. So what do they do with it? Because once you have disposable income, that is when you go into building such things. Because today, for you even to spend 5 million to buy a car, it must be real disposable money or a lottery. Yeah? So Dubai has the money, and they build the real estate, and they invite this guy, come and buy this real estate. And they're very expensive. The guys come in and buy even 10 houses, then they sell them later. These guys do not have a question of money. What they have is a question of legitimizing the money that they have.
How to?
Because the money is there. And through smurfing, whatever, they have now legitimized it at times. It's even in a system. So they want to now invest it. Because wash does not end at just legitimizing the money. It goes further into investing this money, what is called reintegration. So the first process is obtaining this money. Number 2 is layering. And number 3 is reintegration of this money into the economy. Now they retire. So when they retire, you find Odhiambo, who never went to school, but is having so many apartments in Nairobi, just relax somewhere. He's done. He's cleaned his money.
You're just moving around with cars,
just moving around with cars,
changing cars.
Yeah, but the danger of that, Cayman Islands, Cyprus, Dubai, Swiss did this. They welcomed illicit money. It was so good for the temporary period, because there's somebody who asked me yesterday, Okari, when I was telling that I would be here. He asked me, why are you saying that wash money is bad? We can legalize wash money like Switzerland did it. I tell them, Switzerland did it, but today Switzerland has been forced to declare that secrecy thing that they were doing to be false. Now they have to be more open, or else they'll go into the blacklist. They'll be isolated from the global economy. You don't exist in isolation as a nation.
Is that why? Because I've been to Cyprus a few times.
Yes.
But what surprised me, it's a very small island.
Yes.
A lot of pensioners, but they have these huge casinos. And the casinos are 24 hours. I was staying in a hotel where the casino, people are streaming in at 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning.
Can you with your hard-earned money go and play casino?
No, I only tried one game and I lost 200 euros.
Look at that. You'll never try again. So those guys are coming and playing huge monies at the casino, and when they do that, it's basically casino will go and declare, because betting and licensing, you know, that thing. They go and declare. Even there's some of these betting farms that are here in this country. This is the nonsense they're doing. And what is it doing in finality? It is denying they put the money. Then we go into Shylock, things like this one, where now you and me cannot borrow, because the banks are rather give the government money, and not you and me. Okay, so wash is not good.
It's not good, and this is an intricate web of many, many things going on. I think this is just episode 1.
Yes,
it's just episode 1. We've just scratched the surface. Obviously, we're going to have to go into episode 2 with you, Odhiambo, because there's a lot more going on. We may not even see. These things are happening under our noses, and we're not even aware. We've just had the conversation, and folks are still not aware that the person next to you, or the entity in front of you, could be. And where are we actually going? So this is part 1. We will be back in a few days with part 2 of things that are actually going on. Started off with gold and seeing what it's doing. Odhiambo Tieno has quite the wealth of information in terms of what's going on. And perhaps you need a security tail at this rate. At this rate,
Okari, get me one.
My goodness. This is what we're dealing with. Researcher and communication strategist Odhiambo Brian Otieno has been our guest this hour. We're just looking at ways in which money is going in and out, and perhaps protectionists. But then who's to protect if those who should protect are involved as well? We'll talk about it on our next time. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you.
At 8:01. Good morning.
The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning. This is the News Wire. I'm Lea Ubaga. NTSA data shows that over 3,300 Kenyans have lost their lives in road crashes during the first 9 months of 2025, with pedestrians and motorcyclists bearing the brunt of the fatalities. According to the National Road Safety Action Plan 2024-2028, most accidents occur in the evenings when poor visibility, higher speeds and alcohol consumption increases risks on the country's busiest roads. The NTSA reports that 3,397 people have died in road crashes so far this year, 28 more in the same period in 2024, with a total of 17,270 people affected, 291 more than last year. The government has unveiled a 5-year National Road Safety Action Plan aimed at addressing reckless driving, accident hotspots and high-risk behaviors such as drink driving. The X-ray imaging of 34 bodies exhumed from shallow graves and 103 body parts in Kwabinzaro Forest in Kilifi County has been completed. The operation was conducted by government doctors and pathologists in an effort to obtain data that will assist them in conducting an investigation to determine factors such as the age of the deceased. The operation was being conducted at the Malindi Sub-County Hospital, where over 400 bodies exhumed at Shakahola lay. The completion of the imaging now paves the way for the commencement of the autopsy on the bodies, which will begin next week. This comes as government surveyors continue with the task of marking houses and villages within Kwabinzaro Forest, while the investigation and identification of new graves continues. Radical ideology expert Hassan Mwakimako had this to say on the matter.
Shakahola, a very unfortunate incident, a cultic incident. It grew because of the ignorance of the local population about religion, one, but also the laxity in security sector. Regulation sometimes, for many people, is not really the cure for incidents like those of Shakahola. But knowledge, awareness, and keenness by security agents and the administrative structures to ensure that whenever these incidents happen, then very swift action is taken against the perpetrators.
The lecturer strike that has affected 41 universities is on its second day today, even as the dons have refused to return to work until their grievances are resolved. The lecturers took to the streets across different counties yesterday, claiming they were forced to down their tools after the government ignored their 7-day strike notice and willingness to discuss their grievances.
According to the failure by the government to honor our agreements we had with them last year and the powers bestowed upon us as secretaries, today we have launched the two-chapter strike.
We have the CBA of 2017-2021. This government implemented it in bits. They were to do the second phase in July this year. That is 2 months ago, but they have not done so.
Nimeona waziri wa elimu ameandika barua ya kusema kwamba pesa ya kumaliza huu mgomo imetoka. Ningependa kusisitiza kwamba sisi hatutarudi kazini mpaka hiyo pesa tuone imeingia kwapi? Kwa mfuko.
It is not our wish, but we are forced by circumstances. So we appeal to our students to be patient as their lecturers push for what is rightfully theirs.
And this even comes as Education CS Julius Ogamba pleaded with them to return to work with Treasury, claiming that it had released 2.5 billion shillings to be utilized in the implementation of Phase 2 of the 2021-2025 collective bargaining agreement for universities. That's the Newswire. I'm Leo Baga, and remember to continue enjoying the EPL marches that are being aired and across our radio stations. That is Radio Maisha, Berur Radio, and right here on SpiceFM.
102.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
One of the things that are ailing our country is negative ethnicity. You find you as a state officer, instead of thinking as a Kenyan, you think like a tribal person.
Let me tell you something. The biggest problem we have had in this country is a leadership deficit. There is nothing that you are going to do in the process of change if you are not a risk taker. So you really have to pursue your vision to a logical conclusion and even be ready to step on people's toes.
When it comes to the economy, you can run away with it. They say statistics are like bikinis. They reveal a lot, but they conceal the vitals. And so government people would throw statistics at you and tell you they're revealing a lot of information to you, but it's really concealing the real vitals.
We need to get out of that, because when we want to grow our democracy, one basic thing that really requires to be understood by the political class, by all of us, is institutions are critical.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
We look at the utterances of leaders who are aligned to broad-based, who are initially in ODM. We thought they stand for something. Now they've been exposed.
Because we are a third world country, we are poor. And not because we don't have resources, but we have been robbed senseless.
Look at the wasteful expenditure. Look at how large government lives. And we've said this is something that can be controlled. It happens in many other countries.
Internally, we used to stand and tell him, boss, hii kitu ni mbaya. And you'd say, now he doesn't let me tell you, you saw the other parliamentary group meeting. People went there, sat, listened, looked at him. There was no plenary, left.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
You have land, Dennis. Okay, your own land. You use your own money to build it, and then you sell it to yourself.
But we don't want foreign troops on Kenyan soil.
But surely it goes a little bit deeper. This is it.
If you find the tree is withering, then you call the person who is managing that tree. Come around. Why? Tell me what is
first of all, what's the problem?
Yes, what is the problem there?
How do we expect ourselves to move forward as a country?
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
He is himself actually has admitted that he bribed members of parliament, so...
he admitted that he bribed members of parliament?
Well, when he said...
The government.
Yeah, when he said that he gave the 10 million was for what?
We're always quick to point faults in somebody else before you look at your own faults as a person.
If it was Kanu's day, hii amuka naye leo, ungekuwa umeenda bali sana hii. So and we must celebrate you.
There are 600 million people now globally estimated to be living with diabetes in the world. So it is a major health problem. It's the largest single disease rising pandemic that we're dealing with right now.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
It's 10 minutes after 8 o'clock and our conversations continue this morning. Karibu sana as we do. I know there's been a bit of an issue here and there with sound, but I think all of that has been sorted out. So let's continue with the conversations this morning, shall we? This is the Situation Room this Thursday, and we get into take a little bit of a different course on conversations that we'll have right now. And as we do that, PLO Lumumba is here with us in the studio. He's an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and Tanganyika and joins us in the studio this morning as we take a look at the state of the nation. Wakili, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm very well.
Good to see you.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Oh, thank you for honoring it. And I think it's always, there's always an opportunity for us to talk. Just the other day, we were thinking, and we said, you know what? Why do we insist on conversations in this day and age? And the truth is that before we see things happening, we saw different ages where things changed, and it was clear what was happening, that people were building things and then they were mechanizing, and then it was clear that this is the way that we are moving from one place to the next. And it was clear that we started to use coal and we started to use steam, and then soon after that we started to use oil to move things along, and it was clear the direction in which people were going. And then we had the time where money then really took over the world, and that money then was used literally to move things from one place to the next, and it was clear the direction that we were going. But now we find ourselves in an information age where sometimes it's not so clear what direction that we're going. And it's very easy for us to bury our heads in the sand and not have conversations about our reality. And these conversations are serving the same position that coal did, that steam did, that money did. And so in the information time, where we are now looking at technological ways of doing things, a conversation becomes a way in which we bring things to the fore. And I think we do ourselves a disservice by not talking about a number of things. So thank you for being here this morning to allow us to be able to do that. We're going to be looking into the state of the nation, and we'll talk about a number of things. But before that, I want to give you a proverb from the Republic of Benin. And we would love to hear your interpretation of this. The people of Benin say that a man who went, or a man who goes to hunt and sees some fruit will eat it instead. A man who goes to hunt and sees some fruit will eat it instead. What do you make of that?
Benin is what we knew as Dahomey.
Yes.
And of course, it is a statement that has a Kiswahili equivalent. Simba akikosa nyama hula nyasi. That the mere fact that one went to hunt an antelope does not preclude one from eating a fruit which is not in the same family. In other words, circumstances govern how you behave and conduct yourself. That is my interpretation.
Love to hear it. Many things have been happening since the last time we had the privilege of having this conversation with you. And we are in a place whereby there are many considerations that are being made in terms of leadership, and that we see a time where there is a lot of traipsing to State House for what would be promises, what would be establishments of development coming from the president. Do we have a different outlook of the nation, or are things still going in a direction which we need to claw back from?
You know, we have been here. I was here in the 1980s, in the 1990s, and when we were agitating for constitutional change, one of the things that we wanted to eliminate was the personalization of state power. We wanted to institutionalize power and to institutionalize the use of public resources. We did not want State House once again to be a site where people are invited and then they go out with something called development. That is pure pork barreling in the United States. And let me break down what pork barreling is. It is the use of state resources by public servants to hoodwink the public for purposes of attracting votes. The President of the Republic of Kenya and many public officials are on a campaign mode. And they are telling the electorate, we hold the yam and the knife. When you toe our line, we'll give you the yam. That is why Siaya goes there. And the governor says, we have come out with development. Kisumu visits and says, we have come out with development. Kisii goes there. We have come out with development. Meru goes, Embu goes. We are in the dark ages. This is what we intended to eliminate. 10,000 teachers go there, and each one of them, I do not know on which budget, say we were each given 10,000 Kenya shillings. It is tragic. It is unfortunate. It defeats what we fought for. And it is sad. And that is not how you run a country in the 21st century. It is unfortunate. It is painful, because what we expected is that once you've devolved power, there is a government plan which speaks to every sector. And see, as all this is happening, our lecturers in public universities are on strike because they have not been paid. County workers have not been paid. Pending bills are in the billions. The Auditor General is telling us that the counties have 5,000 accounts which are not known. There are ghost workers and ghost students. Theft of public resources, it is at another level. The courts are telling us we should not campaign, and everybody is on a campaign mode. Investors are saying this is not the place to invest in now. It is sad. It is unfortunate. It is painful.
And even with those sentiments, Pielo, the president has been very clear and has come overt in no uncertain terms and said that anybody who would say the words that you're speaking now is against development, that doesn't want to see a situation where we make things better. And he said, even coming out of State House, that we don't care what they say. We are going to make this country better. We will put money in the hands of people. We will make sure that we develop. I am the best president that Kenya has ever had, and that we will not stop. In the next 2 years, all these things that we said we were going to do, we will do. And the naysayers will not detract us.
Of course, we've heard such rhetoric before, but I've never heard anybody saying I'm the best. It is history that makes that judgment. And the jury remains out until historians are able to say and to judge what it is that you did. Let's look at the statistics. Your teachers, your lecturers are saying, we are not going to work. And as I speak to you now, there is no teaching in all public universities in this country. Your workers are saying that they have not been paid for the months of July and August, and every other county is issuing a memorandum. Your doctors have not been paid. Your different sectors of the economy have not been paid. Your suppliers of goods and services have not been paid. Where is this money in the people's pockets? The evidence contradicts the assertions. I can give you personal examples. I did work for a quasi-governmental organization in the year 2014. I've court orders have not been paid. And many are the testimonies. Companies are being wound up. Houses are being sold. Where is this money in people's pockets? My president convinces us that we need a house levy. We deduct it from our workers. Then my president tells those who have participated in sports, I'm going to give you the houses. Where is the logic? My president tells teachers, I'm going to give you 20%. Is it my president's to give? Even if you want to be charitable, you feel pained. And we feel pain. We've been around. What we are worrying about are the younger generation. And when the economy is doing well, it is self-evident. Look, go around the country. I was in Lodwar for the last 3 days. But for non-governmental organization, there is no government presence worth of talking about in that part of the world. Lodwar is 77,000 square kilometers, Nyanza, Western, Kiambu combined. Only one courtroom. Police stations 100 kilometers apart. NGOs are the ones that are keeping that part alive, and the people themselves. And yet I'm being told that I have no right to speak about this. This is what we said in our constitution. People died and were jailed for it, that we may speak out. Every government must be checked. And that is why I say that governments are instituted amongst men and women, that they may serve those, and that they must be kept under constant interrogation. That is a constitutional right. And it is easy to dismiss people who are well-meaning. Those of us who keep on voicing the things that we are voicing, we do so out of patriotic duty. Because as Chinua Achebe, or is it Wole Soyinka, who said, the man died in silence who remained silent in the face of tyranny. We cannot keep silent. We must speak out. We must point out, because no leader is infallible. Every leader must be subjected to scrutiny. How is it that we now live in a country where court orders are disregarded? We now live in a country where our parliament is silent on all things except the CDF, which they want to use for purposes of pork barreling. They are silent. There are things that call for emergency. People are killed in the streets. My good friend Chalo Mbovu is killed like a rat in the streets. And Parliament does not convene. People are attacked in River Road during daylight. A young girl is raped in Homa Bay during daylight and acid poured on her face. And I'm being told that our country is doing well in the retail sector. Look at the entire retail sector. Look at who are dominating our retail. If it is in the taxi business, is Uber from San Francisco and Bolt from Estonia. If it is in the supermarket space, it's Carrefour from France. If it is transportation on motorbikes, it's Glovo from Spain. If it is security, it's Gardewal from Quebec. These are the realities. And when I'm told that the Kenyan economy is growing, where is it growing?
So Kenya doesn't have a hold on its economy?
We don't.
Doesn't have a hold on its infrastructure?
No, we don't. Look at even matters as mundane as a sewer construction in Nairobi is to a Chinese company. We've been producing civil engineers since the 1960s. Where are they? Where are they that they cannot build bridges? Where are they? And this money leaves our country, and we are not for one moment saying that they should not. The IEBC is telling the world we cannot run elections, we have no money. The evidence is there. The evidence speaks for itself. And you see, if we were to admit that there is a problem in our country, we would work jointly. A month ago, I was in Abuja, Nigeria, and there was a leading Kenyan politician present there with only 4 of his aides. And he told the audience, I came by private jet, which I suspect is paid for by taxpayers.
Said this in your presence?
In my presence. Private jet from Kenya to Abuja in Nigeria. Helicopters dominate our airspaces from Fridays attending funerals by public officials. Money is there to be wasted, but there is no money to pay our lecturers. There is no money to pay salaries. You drive across Nairobi below the expressway. The roads are dilapidated. I lived in this city. Garbage is uncollected. The sewer lines are breaking. That is the state of our country. A great country. Still a good country, which we must make good and great. But the level of arrogance in political power in this country is without comparison. I've been around.
Pilo, it's very painful listening to what you've just said. I mean, it paints a picture because sometimes within the media space, there's always this question of it's not all dark and gloomy. and there are other good things happening. If you look at the newspaper in front of you, the Standard is reporting in a Shylock economy. Look at the Star. Governance to face EACC over dubious county hustlers funds. Then you've got a Homa Bay governor here, for example, on the spot, as wage bill jumps by 400 million. You earlier said there are counties that are operating with 300 bank accounts, 400 bank accounts, one county, and money is embezzled into all this. You look at the Business Daily, fake 39 billion supplier bills exposed in City Hall audit. This is from the control of budget. Nairobi blames inflated lawyers' bills and state debt. You look at the Daily Nation, again, same thing. Cabinet secretaries on early campaign trail, and several ministers are openly dabbling in partisan politics, including House speakers. This is the state of the nation. At what point do we say enough is enough? And is there, because you've been here long enough, have we reached a boiling point yet? Because I look at nations where they've gone over and beyond. A few weeks ago, we saw what happened in Nepal. And it was a build-up of corruption issues where officials are taking their children abroad for further studies, where they are buying expensive cars, expensive clothes, expensive jewelry. And there is this show and arrogance, like you said, of what are you going to do? There is opulence. It appears money is flowing within a few. But then you have a generation that is saying, you know what? Enough is enough. Have we reached that point where we can clearly say enough is enough? And what's the hope with all this despair?
No, my brother and my sister, hope can never die. And the reason why Kenya remains the way it does is because there is a critical mass of Kenyans who still do a good job. They are to be found in the civil service. They are to be found in the streets of different parts of the country. They are still doing a good job. And that is why the country is still held. But there is a small percentage, perhaps they don't even number 3,000 in this country, who assume that the rest of us are a bunch of dunderheads, a bunch of fools who can be manipulated without consequence. And history is clear, history is consistent, that there comes a time when the people can no longer resist it. And history tells us, beware the fury of patient people. I used to hear this rhetoric that I hear in this country during the Duvaliers in Haiti. I used to hear this rhetoric in Mobutu. I used to hear this rhetoric in Jean Bedel Bokassa, Central African Republic. I used to hear this rhetoric from Sheikh Hasina in Bangladesh. I used to hear this kind of rhetoric from the Rajapaksas in Sri Lanka. I used to hear this rhetoric in Nepal. The signs are there, as is written in the Bible, mene tekel upar sin. And the sooner the political leadership begin to realize that the anger is welling up, the quicker we'll save our country.
Do they even know that Kenyans are angry?
Sometimes people live in a bubble. And they think that what is being written in the newspaper is fiction, which is being created by journalists. This is not fiction. I travel across this country more than the average Kenyan. This is not fiction. This is the reality. When you see governors doing what they are doing, and then you hear people saying the EACC should stop corruption. How can the EACC stop you from being evil? When you hear that there are 400 accounts and 400 million to be expended on budgets, and you go to those spaces, and what we see is what in Kiswahili is called Kinimacho, Governors Conference. What was the value? What was the product? How did it benefit Kenyans? How many millions were expended during that particular conference?
Just a couple of weeks ago.
Just a couple of weeks ago. You now have these conferences about investment. How much is spent and how much investment comes. We have all these jamborees at which monies are expended and opulence is demonstrated. I ask you to go to different parts of Nairobi and different parts of the country and see the kinds of buildings that are rising courtesy of the political class, whose salaries are known. And people are seeing this. We are getting into a space like there was in France in the days of King Louis XIV, where the people are saying, we want bread. And Marie Antoinette, the wife, says, if they don't have bread, give them cake. Little did she know that they actually have nothing to eat.
They cut off her head eventually.
And their throats were cut. When you see it being said, Shylock economy, the women will tell you in this country what is keeping us alive are chamas. The circles are also being looted. But they'll tell you it is because of the circles that we survive. What is called the black tax. People who are employed and salaried are sending money to their kith and kin for purposes of survival. Yet a politician comes to a public rally and in a church and gives 5 million, 100 million. In one weekend, some politicians give more money than they earn throughout their entire life as members of parliament. What is the source of that money? It is Kenyan money.
We must ask. And this is interesting it's interesting and sad at the same time, because as we have these conversations and we want to move towards development, you want a country whereby the rule of law and constitutionalism is upheld, but you want a country that will have statesmen and women in place that are essentially the vanguards of the livelihoods of Kenyans. But a week ago, we had a conversation here, and it struck me. I'm heavy of heart when I think about the 100,000 community health volunteers that were hired by government. They're given a stipend of 3,500 shillings per month. A gentleman stood on this stage and told us how he would take a woman who is in labor
at 3 in the morning.
At 3 in the morning to hospital. He's got to figure out how he's going to do that. And while he is taking her, he's leaving children in that home who will maybe go to school the next day and they don't have anything to eat. From that 3,500 shillings, he's got to see how he can buy a packet of unga, sort it out for them to eat. He's taken this mother to hospital. And the hospital, where we are told that the health system is functioning, has told him, well, have you come? Yes. We don't have gloves. We don't have gloves. You have to get gloves for us to then be able to treat this woman. This same woman is going to be asked to bring her own cotton wool to take care of herself after she's been delivered of her baby. She doesn't have the luxury of spending an extra night in hospital because how is she going to pay for it? She can't afford the 300 shillings a month for a health payment that would see that her delivery is taken care of. That's the reality, PLO.
And my sister, if therefore the education system is broken, if the health system is not functioning and we are told and we see how much is lost through SHA, if our agriculture is not doing well, and I know we are importing onions from Tanzania, nothing wrong with it. In my rural village, there is a market called the Uganda market. That is where we get food on Sundays in a place called Usenge in my rural home. You walk into a place called Beyond Fruits, you'll discover that the oranges are from Egypt. And the reality is, tell me which sector. I talk to and work with individuals in the security sector who are watchmen and watchwomen, if you may. They are paid 10,000 bob, some of them a month, and you've just given the story. In other words, this is the time when a country sits back and a country assesses where she is and confronts the issues head on, and we begin to resolve these issues. This is not a time for orgiastic chest thumping. No, it is not. This is not a time for pork barreling where we run around the country and give something we call development, where we celebrate the number of stadia that we have built. No, this is not the time. People want food. People want to go to school. People want real things. People want their lives to be changed. Because what is development? Development is not things. Development is about people. Young people, their parents taking their children to school, and those children upon graduation have opportunities to thrive, to invent and to innovate. I go into restaurants and I talk to some of the young people who are waiting, have been served in hotels by engineers who are earning 10,000.
We had a gentleman here from what was it, the Engineers Association, and what he was telling us, the painful part is we have graduates, and the process that you go through in our education system to then become a certified engineer is very, very long. It's very laborious. But at the end of it all, what they're only asking for is to be involved in a lot of these projects that are coming up. And the gentleman said, you know what's happening is we are being sidelined. Instead, we are getting these Chinese coming, taking over jobs that we can do. There is what the law says, but then there's the reality now of what's happening in the job market. And they're saying all we're asking for, we've gone to school to study these things, to do these things, and we can do these jobs, but we can't get these jobs because the government then has allowed all these other experts from outside the country to come in. Then they're paid 2 times what the local person is asking. My question is, if you canvass the different sectors, we are clearly against the wall. If it's education, every day you watch the news or read the newspapers, there's nothing to smile about. You look at education, children going to school, we are already destroying the future of these young people. And the reason is the less than 3,000 you mentioned, their children don't go to local schools. We see the optics on Instagram, on Facebook, on X, where they go join their children in Australia, in the US, in the UK, celebrating their their children who are graduating from these very expensive universities. Locally, they can't even afford. A teacher was once saying that he cannot even afford to take his own child to a local university, leave alone a college. Then you look at the health sector. The president yesterday in Mombasa said that the government from tomorrow is going to pay for the poor and the vulnerable, for the SHA, the 1.5 million who are not able to pay. The government is going to pay for them. We don't know where this money is coming from. Ndu did the math this morning. It's coming to 10.8 billion. The president not telling us where this money is coming from. They don't go to our local hospitals. If they have a cough, they'll go somewhere in South Africa or Germany or in the United Kingdom. So we're in this situation where every sector you look at is affected. If we are to do a reset, and if you're to speak to our listeners and those who are watching, if you're to fix then this country, where do we even start?
You know, you've asked a critical question. You know, there is the assumption by Kenyans that by voting out one set and bringing another set will solve our problem. The problems of this country are now deep and systemic. Deep and systemic because the institutions which ought to be the guarantors of good service have been progressively destroyed. If you look at the education sector, and let's start with the universities. Universities are run by councils and senate. Today, we hear it is the politicians who are telling us how much fees should be charged. In other words, we have destroyed the governance structure at the universities. In the tertiary sector, you saw 10,000 teachers. Not even one of them had the courage to say this is not how we govern our education sectors. They have all been decimated. So we have killed institutions in that regard. You look at budgeting. When the President of the Republic of Kenya says we are going to pay, how did Parliament approve that expenditure?
Did they have the conversation?
Did they have the conversation in Parliament, the people's representatives, to determine that we are going to spend the billions in paying for these individuals? When was this debated? Which vote is being charged? In other words, Parliament is completely neutered. Look at the judiciary. The judiciary issues orders which nobody obeys. So the pillars of what we call a democratic dispensation have been destroyed. Look at the counties. The new game in town is impeachment. And once it's impeachment, it opens floodgates for bribery. And we know that that is up. So what must we do? What we must do is that the people now must begin to take charge through civil societies. People must begin to articulate their affairs, and people must make demands of their politicians. That is assuming that the change that we desire will come in a peaceful manner. And let's not delude ourselves. If we are not quick enough to arrest this rot, then God forbid that I am right. And God forbid. The people will one day simply say, enough is enough. And we have seen enough of it. We saw it in the Arab Spring. We saw it recently in Nepal. The people will say that. Kenyans, to their credit, always come to the streets, and then they give opportunity to the politicians to right their wrongs. But because they assume that Kenyans' memories are so short, they then go back to their old ways. Look at what we call opposition now. What is opposition about it? They are the same individuals who, not so long ago, were in the government. What change can they guarantee? Simply because they were removed from the eating table, now they have had a Pauline convention. Kenyan voter is also to blame. When good men and women come with good ideas, with good proposals, your typical average Kenyan will vote tribe, will vote for because of 200 shillings. So we are also co-authors of our own misfortune. The time for us is to wake up. If you are living in Nairobi, what does it matter? The tribe of the person that you vote. When you are boarding a plane, do you ever ask the tribe of the pilot? When you are taking a matatu, do you ever ask the tribe of the matatu driver? You simply want a good matatu driver. But when it comes to driving the nation, you now ask whether they are from your clan or for your tribe. So we too, as Kenyans, as long as our conversation is around tribe and tribal kingpins and around the money that is used to bribe us, we'll never change this system.
Does it matter that your creed, and creed in the sense of what should happen, coalesced around an ideology, may stand for something? And I'll explain just a little bit. That should there be something fundamental that is believed in by the people and then practiced? Because oftentimes, even in our studies, we are given case studies as an exemplification of the theory, to say this is what was done, this is what happened. And on this planet, people who are human beings with brains, just like us, have been able to an extent, master the art of having the people involved and cared for as part of a national jurisdiction. Why is it so difficult for us? Why is it so difficult? And what can we actually do to get over this difficulty?
You know, Andu, when we came up with the Constitution, and I was intimately involved in the process, we said we wanted to create a developmental state that would be the Kenya. We were building up on the years of where there was ideological orientation, social democracies from sessional paper number 10 of 1965. But say we want to build a developmental state where institutions are given their pride of place and the government is people-centered and people-driven. That is why we came up with terms such as people participation, meaningful people participation, where leadership is anchored upon values. That is the essence of Chapter 6 of the Constitution, and of course, that is the essence of Article 10 of the Constitution. We said this is the state that we want to build. And because of that, we took the view that power must be devolved to the people so that they participate. But that was not, in my view, or has not, in my view, been properly articulated because we brought in old wine in new wineskins. The political culture of the country never changed because the same bad manners and ill-mannered politicians that we had in the 1990s are the very same that we have. So as long as we have mannerless politicians who are ethnically inclined, whose greatest claim and desire is to achieve two things. They have great appetite to seek power by hook and crook, and great appetite to retain power by hook and crook. And why do they have those two major appetites? Because power gives them privilege, power gives them immunity, and power allows them to run roughshod over the people. And because the people are ethnically divided, it is easy to remind them that it is our time to eat, as my friend John Githongo and Michelle Rong did. So now it is our turn to eat. That is why you hear the kind of rhetoric that you hear in the country where people are now dividing themselves along ethnic lines. But what can we do beyond lamentation? Organize. And I believe the organizations are coming in a proper way. They must be coordinated. The lecturers are now organized about welfare. The doctors are organized around their welfare. The teachers around their welfare. Those in agriculture should be organized around their welfare. Those who are the clergy, as happened in the days of Fungamano, where all denominations came together. This is the time. This is the time for all those forces of goodwill to come together and make demands of the politician. All these individuals who are running around saying they want to be president, stop and shut up. The problems of this country are not going to be solved by these people who suffer from the Messiah complex, who believe that they are Moses with rod and staff in their hands going to part Red Seas and summon pillars of fire to divide us between us and poverty. The time is now to think about the country, and ufungamano too is now necessary. The clergy, whether they are Christians, whether they are Hindus, whether they are Muslims or African spiritualists, this is the time for which you are made or appointed. And if we rise in an organized manner and approach political leadership with the firmness that will open their eyes, that will remove the scales from their eyes and melt the wax in their ears, I still have faith that they can listen.
Is it by talking? Because, and I ask this question, it's a difficult and sticky one to sometimes imagine, but there is no jurisdiction on the earth today who operates in any semblance of order today, and without the things that you talk about, without having gone through a situation that was bloody, without having gone through one that was difficult, and for some time seemed as though things were going to fall apart before they were put together. That the revolution was taken right to the seat of power. You yourself gave the example of King Louis and Marie Antoinette. They died at the hands of the people. They had to be removed from power forcefully in order for a new dispensation to come in.
My view is that words must be combined with action. And it is Martin Luther King Jr. who put it so very well, that in order to avoid the bloody path, we must dramatize our dissatisfaction. And that dramatization must start by organization within the confines of the law. And that is why I'm now urging all sectors that this organization should be coordinated. And once they are coordinated, the first step is to come up with a 5 or 10-point agenda which should be presented to the President of the Republic of Kenya, making clear demands. We should be presented to the parliamentarians of Kenya, making demands, and ask for proper national dialogue. A proper national dialogue. Forget this conclave.
But he's got 10-point agenda. Come on, there's a broad-based government.
No. Forget about
he
that.
He gave another 10 points in the State House.
Forget about this.
Is that a joke?
No, these are marriages of convenience which are designed to simply cool the heat. That is NADCO, BBI. Those are things that are designed, and we have seen those kinds of things. 1997, I was there. IPPG. I saw the shaking of hands. I saw broad-based. Forget about those. Those are the short-term initiatives that hold this country back, because they are designed to address short-term political interests. The kind of dialogue that I'm talking about actually has precedent in this continent. In 1992, the Beninois, whom you started with their proverb, actually had this kind of national dialogue. The Sudanese, before they fell apart, after the professionals had come, had this kind of dialogue, and they produced something. I am prescribing this in order to save our country from pain. Because history tells me that if you follow the other painful path, putting the country back again may take generations. My hope and prayer is that those who hold the arm and the knife, or so they believe, will have the humility to listen to the many voices that are speaking about these things, because they are patriotic, because they love this country, and because they want this country to be what it should be, great.
But PLO, are we running out of options? Because what you're then suggesting already began actually last year. When we had the finance bill, before people hit the streets, there were conversations where people were then speaking to the members of parliament, writing directly, and tell them, look, this thing is terrible. Stop it. Don't assent to this. The MPs didn't listen. And when they realized, when they thought that the people are joking, people galvanized themselves and they said, look, we're going to hit the streets because you're not listening to us. We're going to collectively then go to the streets and you have to listen to us. And the first time we saw now what we are referring to as the Gen Z movement on the streets, these are very well-educated young people who are using AI. They are interpreting the finance bill in their own mother tongues. They did that. Then we had the civil society also coming out. We had the LSK coming out. We had all these groups coming out and saying, this is the rallying call. The country is bleeding, and this is what we want. You need to listen to us. But then what happens? Just fast forward to this year, Sabasaba. These people on the streets were met with guns and bullets. And we've lost so many young people. There are still those who are in hospitals. There are those nursing wounds. So we've tried that path. We've had young people getting arrested from their homes. We've hosted a young lady here, arrested from her house by the DCI because she was trying to do public participation and creating a website where then people can go and look at the agendas, what are the issues in the finance bill, and in context, discuss those issues, and then speak to the members of parliament. All these things are within law. But look, she was arrested. She was moved around different courts until she was later released. The invocation of the law with terrorism on young people who are agitating for this same thing that you're saying. There's the cyber crimes, the Cyber Crimes Act. And what then you see as the pushback from government. We've tried what you're suggesting. Where does it then end?
Let me tell you, you can't make an omelette without breaking the eggs. And I can't agree with you more that we are actually running out of options. We are actually running out of options. And people think that that change gives clear warnings with thunder and lightning. Sometimes it is creeping. And I fear it is creeping. And because I'm consciously aware of the danger of the other dangerous route, this is why I'm urging a further final push. And I'm in the business of writing letters. One of the things that I want to do over the weekend is actually to write to all these people whom I know. Let us once again congregate at Ufungamano. Let us re-energize Ufungamano. And let us engage those in power so that we give it one final push so that we save our country. Don't be disappointed, because the other option may look the attractive option, but is a dangerous option. And history tells us that you never know what its outcome can be. But I want and hope that the political class will know that people are getting tired. They are very tired. You only have to go through the social media and you see how tired people who are once respected in this country, if they say one thing, they are insulted. Why? But they don't want to leave because they are blinded by power. I told you, their appetite is to seek and obtain power by any means necessary and to protect it by any means necessary. And some are now also scared to lose power because they know the people are angry. And the world is no longer giving refuge to people who have messed up their countries. Remember that we have ICC that is also waiting for some people who perpetrated heinous crimes. So my appeal to my people, let's give it one final push in the hope that the change comes and comes in a peaceful manner. But to the political class, my message is Kenyans are getting tired. Everywhere you hear they have not been paid this. Everywhere you hear their children are not going to school. Everywhere you hear they have no job opportunities. Everywhere you hear they are on strike. And on the other side, you, the political class, have now converted helicopters into borders in the airspace, spending 500,000 an hour on our taxes. Your children are out there in Monash University and in Cambridge and in others and in Canada. You are taking your children to school systems which are not Kenyan systems. You pay $30,000 a year and then you reduce the fees that is being paid. You cheat us. You insult us. One day, it will not be as you want it to be.
There's 2 years to an election. There are things that people are asked to do. In a couple of weeks, people are going to be asked to register. And there are folks who, at this point, feel that going to the ballots might be a waste of time. Is that the sentiment?
I hear many people saying, why vote when those who vote don't matter? It is those who count the vote that matter. A friend of mine has written a book in which he talks about how courts have now become the mega alpha electorate. The book by Chidi Ansem Odin Kalu is called The Selectorate. So we have a group of individuals in Supreme Courts who now tell us who our president is going to be after we have wasted our voting. But I urge Kenyans now, take the vote. Vote. Protect the vote. It is still possible. Let's try it one more time. One more time. It can be done. But men and women of goodwill must also come out. Let us not remain in our bedrooms agonizing without organizing. And you, the Kenyan electorate, do also listen to men and women of goodwill. I'm now told that almost every politician has a group of people who are their kind of militia. To our security forces, please deal with these militias in good time. Because if you don't, this is how Haiti became Haiti that we know today. Let's save our country. still a great country.
Patrick Loch Lumumba, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and Tanganyika, has been our guest this hour. There's not need to say more after that. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you.
And it is our hope. Good morning, 9 a.m.
God bless.
Amen.
.4 Spice FM.
Good morning, this is the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga. Kenya Power has announced a planned nationwide power interruption today that will affect parts of 7 counties across different regions. In a public notice issued on its official X account, the company said the interruptions are part of ongoing network maintenance and will run for several hours in selected areas. Customers in Nairobi, Nyeri, Meru and West Pokot are among those affected to experience outages lasting between 8:30 a.m. all the way to 5 p.m. in the evening. In the Nairobi region, the utility said sections of Westlands and Lavington will be without electricity for most of the day. Nairobi City County workers have been directed to slow down their duties or remain at home until their pending salaries are credited following repeated delays that have left staff unable to meet personal and family obligations. In a letter dated September 17th and addressed to Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, the Kenya County Government Workers Union said the workers' July and August salaries have yet to be disbursed. The union noted that the delays also include third-party remittances, despite a return-to-work agreement signed with county government on August 11th following a 5-day pay protest. Nairobi City Branch Secretary Calvin Sokelo explained that the delays have affected staff's ability to commute and meet other obligations. Controller of Budget Margaret Nyakango says county governments are operating over 5,400 bank accounts in commercial banks, many without the required approval. In her report for the financial year 2024-2025, Nyakango highlighted that counties are required to seek approval and register any commercial bank account with her office before opening them. However, many have failed to comply. She noted that county treasuries have not submitted authorization letters for these accounts to her office as mandated by the Public Finance Management Act. This omission poses a serious risk of financial mismanagement and leaves public funds vulnerable to theft. Government officials, activists and citizens of Kilifi County have organized a public meeting at Maweni Pentagon in Malindi to share their ideas on ways to deal with criminal gangs. Area Assistant Chief Nicodemus Mwayele has at the same time called on residents to work with security agencies to confront the growing criminal gangs in the city.
Bado tuna madawa na hiyo madawa imezaa vijana wa mapanga, kwa sababu kila kikundi utakachoenda hapo kutakuwa kuna kutwa bangi, lile bangi litazaa mambo mengine na vijana wataenda, ndio ile shida bado tuko nayo. Hapa Malindi kuna wazee, hali ile ambayo inaendelea, mimi huwa nasema the reflection ya community. Ukiona watoto wana behave hivyo, jua wale wazee wao nao hawako mbali na hii, hata hao ndio wasi.
And parents, on the other hand, have also blamed themselves for failing to instill discipline in their children.
Sisi wazazi tunachukua pesa tunaenda kupeana kwa serikali, mtoto siku ya pili anatembea. Wangapi wameshikwa wamewekwa pale ndani, hata mkotini hawakufika. Mtu ataenda na 10,000 pale, mtu ataenda na 5,000, atapewa serikali atachukua pesa atatia mfukoni, kesho mtu uko mtaani anakutafuta wewe uliosaliti. Hatuwezi kuondosha uhalifu. Huu uhalifu unawekwa na serikali.
Most accidents occur in the evenings due to poor visibility, even as higher speeds and alcohol consumption are the leading causes of these crashes. NTSA data shows that over 3,300 Kenyans have lost their lives in road accidents during the first 9 months of the year, with pedestrians and motorcyclists bearing the brunt of the fatalities. The government has unveiled a 5-year national road safety action plan aimed at addressing reckless driving, accident hotspots and high-risk behavior such as drink driving. And in the international scene, the wife of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny said that laboratory analysis of smuggled biological samples found he was killed by poisoning while at the Attic prison in February last year. President Vladimir Putin's foremost critic for years, died in mysterious circumstances while serving a 19-year prison sentence on a string of charges widely seen as retribution for his opposition. The charismatic anti-corruption campaigner had rallied hundreds of thousands across Russia in the anti-Kremlin protests as he exposed the alleged ill-gotten gains of Putin's inner circle. That's the Newswire. I'm Leah Ubaka.
.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Good morning, and I love your show.
Thank you.
Having come from a Kikuyu radio background, I migrated to Spice because of the content.
I was born in a slum, but somehow I got a break in life. So sometimes when you see the sweating coming out because of the passion and whatever it is, behind the noise, there are people, and we share the same umbilical cord.
It shouldn't be like that. I am so disappointed. We used to tell Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga that he's doing politics of conmanship. And even President Uhuru Kenyatta, serikali hii ndio iko na conmanship ya hali ya juu. You cannot promise people that you reduce tax, then you double.
In politics, there is the issue of trust. For you to turn around and then stab the same people who gave you that trust, there is no other level of dishonesty. Imabo, utaona dunia tu.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
In this country, 6 families and 8,000 Kenyans control 90% of the GDP. We are not a country. We are a plantation. We work for Ruto.
When you're telling the judges court orders are papers or they will not obey court orders, they're sitting and you're seeking orders from them. So how are they supposed to interpret it? Isn't it an oxymoron?
When you see a judiciary that seems to be under some control somewhere, you start questioning. We have very powerful governors, but they don't use their offices to serve the people.
If you are not shameful to do what you are doing, why should we protect you?
I'm human. Everybody's human. So when you're told, kuja tuongee, I mean, you'd be a fool to say, stagi kuongea. Conversations have to be had, you know?
People in leadership should only go into leadership if they are ready and willing to change the lot of the people.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Good morning, and we continue into the final hour of the Situation Room this morning at 8 minutes after 9 o'clock. Yes, it's been heavy this morning, and we've been looking into a number of things. But one thing is clear. If we remain in silence about many things happening, we will then be silent in too many things. In remaining silent in one thing is remaining silent in too many things. So we must continue these conversations. And even in this, we have another one that we'll talk about today. It's Justice Thursday. And our Justice Thursday conversation is a bit more of a continuation of one that we've had before. But then we get into one and we have examples of certain things that are happening in our society today and ways in which we can deal with them. All right. So today, we're talking about stolen childhoods. And we started off with Justice Nzioki a couple of weeks ago around the issues of child labor and stopping and ending that. Today, we're joined by 2 guests in the studio today. Beryl is a child labor survivor from the Survivor Network. She's here this morning in the company of the Honorable Aziza Adjwang, who is a senior resident magistrate and deputy registrar at the judiciary. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Karibu sana, good to see you.
Asante sana, we are happy to be here.
Thank you. And Beryl, good morning to you.
Good morning to you too.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you for having us.
We're going to talk about some things this morning, maybe not too exciting to listen to, but important to hear all the same. So thanks both of you for being here today. As we normally do, we're going to start the show with today's proverb. You're in the business of interpretation, Honorable Aziza. So even as we get into this, I would like to share a proverb that is from the people of the Benin Republic. The Beninois are very interesting in how their current culture and the way in which they do things has been derived from parts of the Dahomey kingdom that they were part of. And one of the things that those who share proverbs at the time shared, it goes like this, and I would love to hear what you think about it. A man who goes to hunt finds some fruit and he eats it instead. A man who goes to hunt and sees some fruit eats it instead. We'll start with you, Beryl. All right, what do you think about that?
It's a hard proverb.
I know, sometimes.
There is no right or wrong answer. It's just your own interpretation, by the way.
It's a hard proverb. It's like, for me, I think it's reflecting like life. You might want something, go for it, but in the process, you find another thing, and because you're really desperate and you need something, so you just, settle with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go with that thing that you find, even though you were looking for something else.
Yeah.
Exactly, isn't it?
I agree. And was the man expected not to eat the fruit?
Well, I wonder. In this forest, the things that happen in the forest are unknown.
If you go out looking for fruits, yes, you're going to look for the fruits with the aim of eating the fruit. So it's expected that you will eat the fruit. So the man must eat the fruit. That's my interpretation.
Yeah, so if you were looking for food generally and you find some fruit, then why not? Unless you were told, you must come back to this house with an antelope. Don't come back to this house with a mango, kind of thing, you know? But absolutely, you find other things along the way in your search for certain things. All right. Child labor, whether it is in this country, whether it is in the region, whether it's in the world, is not just frowned upon. It is absolutely condemned in terms of things that we then subject children to. So for the purposes of definition and description, to then set the boundaries for the conversation that we are having today, Honorable Adrang, I just want to get it clear from you that when we talk about child labor, that what boundaries are we operating within?
Okay. Child labor is defined by various statutes and provisions of law. So first, our go-to is usually the Constitution. So that is what breathes life into all the other statutes. So the Constitution provides that every child has a right to education. And yes, so by that, we know in the Kenyan context, you need to be in school between ages, let's say, 4 to age around 18. So anything, any form of work that will keep a child out of school, depriving them of their basic childhood, that is child labor.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we have enough occurrences of this? Let's look at the Kenyan jurisdiction for the purposes of this conversation. Do we have enough occurrences for it to be an issue?
Yes, we have enough occurrences, and when you get to hear Beryl's story, that is just one of the many that are going on. We have too many that, and also that's the reason why I'm sure when Justice Njeri was here last week, he spoke of the Employment and Labor Relations Court having a symposium this week. So the court was bringing together stakeholders from civil society, government, to discuss child labor. It is a concern. It is a concern that needed that national platform to be discussed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Beryl?
Yes.
We would love to hear from you in terms of what happened with you and how you went through a situation that we're going to call child labor today. What happened? Give us a little bit of your experience.
Oh, okay. I'm Beryl. I was born in a very not bad family, a well-off one. So after my parents died and my siblings died, I was left to...
You were alone?
Yeah. We were 3. I'm the last born. So when they died before my dad and then my dad, so I just have to look out for myself. So that's when my uncle wanted to marry me off. I had to run away from home because...
Wait, your uncle wanted to marry you off?
Yeah.
How old were you at the time?
I was 13.
You were in school?
Yeah, I sat for my class 8 at that time. My dad passed when the same week I was sitting for my exams. So after the burial, my uncle was like, a girl child is not supposed to inherit her father's property. So he took everything and he was like, what's the use for you going back to school or something? He brought an old man to marry me off to him, so I had to run away because I didn't want to get married at that.
How old was this man?
I don't know. He was too old.
He was old.
He was very old. So I ran away. I met a good Samaritan, maybe, or a bad Samaritan. That's how I was trafficked.
Let's take a few steps back, shall we, Beryl?
Yeah.
All right. So you have sat your KCPE exam at the time. Your father died the week of.
Yeah.
Where was your mother?
My mom died when I was 2 weeks old. I didn't see her.
Okay, you never knew your mother?
Yeah.
Okay. You had siblings, you said?
Yeah, I had 2.
What happened to them?
Tragic. We are not really sure. They just died.
Health matters when they were younger or what?
Not younger. They were my older siblings. I'm the last born.
Understood. But did they die while you were there? Or had you had already been born?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
were they unwell?
Yeah.
Okay.
They got sick for a short period of time.
Okay.
And then they passed.
Okay.
But my father was shot. He didn't die naturally.
Okay.
So
your father was killed?
Yeah.
Okay.
So after he died, and my uncle starts to misbehave.
This is important at this point.
Yeah.
So let's take it step by step. Okay.
Yeah.
You were living, of course, with your father at home.
Yeah.
When he died, did you continue to live at home? And for how long? After he was buried, what happened then?
After my dad was buried, I had a grandma. And I moved in with her.
Okay.
And my grandma was so... She gave up when my dad died. She was like, she's tired. She doesn't want to do it anymore. And I was like, you're the only person I have right now, because my uncle and my family were not really in a good, the family issues stuff. So when after 3 months, my grandma died. So after my father, then my grandma died after 3 months. So that's when my uncle came in.
And your uncle is the brother to your father?
The older brother to my father.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So after my granny died, we buried her. And then my uncle came in and took everything. The married stuff came in between. Yeah, that's when I ran away from home.
Okay. Where did you go?
I went to a center, like in Ushagoya. We have that center where you go to, when you want to go to Kisumu, for example, there is that center you go and find there, So that's where I went to, looking for someone to help, because I didn't know anybody there at that point. I met this woman. At that time, she was a good Samaritan, because she was the only one who agreed to take me in. and give me the opportunity to come to Nairobi, because she have a friend in Nairobi who have a bureau. So they do like traffic girls from Ushago. It's like a business to them. But at that point, I didn't know it's a business.
Okay.
I thought it was a good gesture. I needed that help at that time. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know I have to take you back to your uncle, because he, the part of his story doesn't end here.
Yeah.
You meant he didn't just come to you one day and say, Beryl, I want to marry you.
Yeah.
Did he just come? Not that I want to marry you, I want to marry you off. He told you previously that, you know, girls don't have any place. And also for you, Justice Adrang, even as these are things that you hear, for you to then know that these are the markers leading us to the point whereby something terrible is about to happen here. He didn't just come one day and say, you should go and get married, I'll find somebody for you to marry, did he?
Oh, okay. First, my uncle was a very terrible person. They didn't get along even with my dad when he was alive. He was that kind of a person who doesn't like people and their progress. So when my dad died, he came and started to tell me, I want the property. And because my dad had a will, and he made a will, and my siblings died before me, so he changed it. So everything was in my name at that point. So he talked to the lawyer, our lawyer, after my dad died. They came together and they told me they want me to sign. And he came with a knife, actually.
A knife?
Before the marriage issue, he came. I think the lawyer advised him, if you take everything, people will ask question if this child starts to suffer, you know. So they came up with this idea of marrying me off. But first, the idea was for him to take everything and leave me there to start to suffer, kinda.
Right.
So the marriage idea, it's something I think the lawyer advised. It didn't came like from a while ago. From the beginning, it was the property.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you get to the center and you meet this woman who you thought was a good Samaritan.
Yeah.
What did she say she was going to do for you?
She told me, like, you know, I can take you to Nairobi, and you can work in a household. And within 2 to 3 months, you can have your own business. I mean, who doesn't want their own business?
So basically, she was telling you you're going to be a housemaid somewhere.
Yeah, you will work in a house.
Okay.
Yeah.
She didn't tell you what exactly you're going to do in this house?
No.
Okay.
And because I didn't know much about house chores and stuff, I was in boarding school all along. So it's something new. It was something new to me. But because I really wanted something to cater for myself, somewhere I can call home, somewhere I can go to. And I found this woman, and she got this big promise and greener pasture for me. So I came to Nairobi. She talked to the bureau lady in Nairobi, and I came to Nairobi.
You came alone?
Yeah, I came alone.
So go to this bureau.
Yeah.
Then what are you told?
I was told to wait for clients because I was so young, and they asked for my age. I told them 13, and the bureau lady told me, you don't have to you don't say you are 13. Don't say you are 13. You will not find clients when you say you are 13. Say you are 22. It's just that you don't have the bigger body for 22-year-old.
When she was telling you about clients, what are you referring to?
Clients is those who want house helps.
Okay.
Yeah, so they come and they do interviews for girls, because there are different girls, many, big, small. So the clients come, do the interview, and choose.
So were you ever picked by any client?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is this client. They were a lawyer. and a doctor. So the woman came, did the interview for everyone, but I didn't know I'm supposed to be in the interview. She called and she said, I like them young people, they don't have to give you harder time. They do what they are told. So I did the interview. Finally, she asked, do you have experience? I was so open. I told her everything. And they tend to want to know your history, your background, so that they will know how to deal with you. So because I was so vulnerable and open, and because I thought this is where my help is coming from, so I just opened up, tell them everything, how my story, my uncle and everything. So this person got me at the palm of their hands. They can do anything, knowing very well I don't have anybody who can come to my rescue. So after the interview, we went home. The family was seven people.
So before you left, you said you were several girls.
Yeah.
Were there other younger girls who were 13-year-old, 14 or below 18?
No.
You're
At
the
that
only
time,
one
I
who
was the only 13.
So the others were above 18?
Yeah, 16, 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when a client comes to you, they take you home. You start work immediately. And some of these households, they tend to, some of them they don't give you food. You don't sleep enough.
Was that your experience?
Yeah.
So you started working for this person?
Yeah. And they told me when we were at the bureau, they told me there is no, a lot of work. There is no much to do. You just have to look after the house and the children, the younger one. They got 2 younger children and 2 elder ones. So they say I have to look after the smaller children and the house, like cleaning, washing utensils. And cooking.
Did you agree on payment?
They agreed on payment with the bureau lady.
You were not involved?
I was not involved.
How much did they agree?
The bureau lady told me they agreed like 5,000 at that time.
You were going to be paid 5,000?
Mm-hmm.
And where were you? You were living in this house?
Yeah.
So when would you go off duty, for example? You wouldn't? Because where would
Sundays.
you go? Where would you go?
Come back to the bureau. I didn't have anywhere to go. Mm-hmm. So when I was given like a off day, I usually came back to the bureau to complain, because that's the only person who can listen, because she was the one who is taking me to those houses. So when I was given an off day, I was going back to the bureau.
Okay, so you live with this family, you're taking care of the children, and you continued staying with them, or did you go somewhere else, or what happened?
I went to many households.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't stick to one, because the first one I went to, the work was too much. I wasn't sleeping enough. I was sleeping at 12 and waking up at 4. And I have to wash 3 cars, the whole compound, the whole house. You have to prepare breakfast and then look after the children, the 2 others. So the work was too much. I got sick, very sick. And they refused. They didn't take me to the hospital. But they saw it's getting too much. I couldn't even walk or talk. And then the man said, take her back to the bureau. We don't want her to die here. So I was taken back to the bureau.
Sick?
Very sick, seriously sick. And the bureau lady took me to the hospital. So you'd see the money I was working for 3 months, that is what catered for my hospital bills.
Were they paying you the 5,000 directly?
They didn't. They paid the bureau.
They'll pay the bureau, and then the bureau will pay you the 5,000.
Yep.
So how sick were you?
Very sick. Pneumonia plus malaria plus. It was very serious. So I had to spend all my 3 months' salary in the hospital, and then came back
to the bureau.
And then I have to go to another house, because that's why we are there, right? So it's a challenge. Every household got their own challenges.
So you kept moving from one house to another. How many houses did you?
When I look at it, it's like 10.
Wow.
10 houses.
Yeah, in 1 year.
In 1 year, you worked in 10 houses.
Yeah.
Salary was the same?
No. Some households are better than others, but not really better. But if you want to look at it in a way that some are not really that toxic, but they don't treat you well. But some are really toxic.
So this is all happening not too many weeks after you finished your KCPE exam. So by this time, give or take, if you've worked in 10 homes for a year, you're now approaching 15.
Yeah.
You're 14 some plus, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a break on that. Justice Adrang, hearing this, and I can hear you're not happy hearing the details of this as you hear the details a little bit more. Is this representative of a lot of the cases that we hear? She's 13. She's a baby.
Yes. Unfortunately, I wish I would say no, but unfortunately, yes. And from her story, it's sad that it's unfortunate that the people who are enabling this. She mentions a lawyer on behalf of the legal profession.
Yeah.
We apologize. Apologize. It is not a representation of who we are.
I know.
She mentions the lawyer who, in collaboration with the uncle, were planning to disinherit her from the parents' estate. She also mentions a lawyer who employed her. The law is clear, like we love to say that. The law is very clear. Article 53(1), if you allow me to read it. Every child has a right to be protected from abuse, neglect, harmful cultural practices, all forms of violence, inhuman treatment and punishment, and hazardous or exploitative labor. So it's clear in black and white. There's the Constitution, there's the Children's Act, there's the Employment Act. We are not short of legislative provisions that prohibit child labor, but here we are now in this day and age. And back to your question, unfortunately, you will find children even younger than her, and being exploited. And exploitation and child labor right now is even taking other forms. The last 10 years, we had children working as house helps. Right now, it's in the digital age, we have other things. We have TikTok, children in pornography. Yes, children.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have children in pornography, shooting pornographic videos.
For who?
For the perpetrators.
For who? Who's doing this? Who's saying? Okay, do this video. Who's
there's a scenario that was brought to forth. There's a 36-year-old lady who is talking to someone on the other side of the internet. So this person on this other side of the internet tells them to perform a sexual act in the presence of an 8-year-old child. Yes. There's that. Then there have been several reported cases of girls, very young girls and boys in Kibra shooting TikTok videos, pornographic TikTok videos. They're paid a certain amount per day. So and this is with the consent of the parents. The parents are.
I'm sorry.
Yes. The parents are aware.
I'm sorry. We're going to have to say that again.
Yes.
For real, their parents, or people who think they're their parents?
Their parents. It's with the consent of their parents.
Are they aware of what's happening in these videos as
yes,
parents?
the parents are aware of what's happening in the videos. But then the parents are looking at the children as a source of income. Because when these children shoot videos, they are paid. And I'm not saying this to encourage children out here to get into this harmful practice. But when the children go out there and they shoot videos, they're paid. So that is the money they use to pay the rent, the house rent, and the other needs of the house.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yes.
We're going to hell.
We are going to hell. We are going to hell.
A mother and a father, they take their children to act porn to make money.
Yes.
And these are able-bodied parents who are able to work.
Yes, these are able-bodied parents who are able to work. I'm just referring to a report that was shared. So it says that average monthly reports there's a unit at the DCI that deals with this kind of things. So they say that on average 1,800 cases are reported. The daily report is 60. So we have about 60 cases
of this kind of thing.
Yes, of this kind of thing.
On the internet?
Yes.
Those are the ones that are reported?
Those are the ones that are reported. You can imagine the number of those that are not reported.
Who are the consumers of this?
Thank you. That's
who's paying these parents money to watch children do these acts?
Dennis, the internet. The internet, the amorphous people on the internet. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there are people who want to consume this content are getting onto their social media and are watching videos of children in a pornographic nature earning money, and there are people who are deriving pleasure from this.
Yes. In fact, as we are having this conversation, someone has just reminded me of a case where a 36-year-old woman used an online platform to communicate with a 70-year-old woman in Sweden about their prior planned sexual abuse of relatives, including an 8-year-old boy and a 12-year-old boy. So the boy and the two boys, the 8-year-old boy and the 12-year-old boy, are boys within our jurisdiction. They're boys in Kenya.
In Kenya?
Yes.
And is this woman is in Sweden, you said?
Yes.
Who's paying money to watch?
Who's paying money to someone in Kenya, to a lady in Kenya, to watch the 8-year-old and the 12-year-old performing a sexual act.
These are not human beings. These are demons. What's going on? So these two boys.
Yes.
Wait. These are the parents who are being paid.
These are the parents being paid.
To subject their two children, boys, to perform a sexual act.
Yes. That's correct.
Are these people arrested?
Well, that's another story altogether.
I'm trying to bring this just to land
enforcement.
To bring it on enforcement. I mean, that's the age of my two sons. Mm-hmm. And I am imagining, God forbid, imagine a situation where something like that is happening, but this is the reality that we're dealing with. And these are live, active cases. Beryl is sitting in this room talking about it. It's not pornographic in nature what happened to you, Beryl. But the look on your face tells me that you're well aware of some of these things that happen, even in the home setting.
Yeah, a lot happened. It's unfortunate though, because right now we have different child labor, like this pornography. It's a pornography itself, but when a child is in labor, behind those closed doors, all these are happening.
Oh, what is happening?
Like sexual abuse from the employer. There is this, not really my story though, but there is this friend we were working with. She was young and she was being abused sexually from the mother and the father.
What?
Yep.
From sexually abused by the mother?
Yeah, not really the mother of the house.
Where she
the
was
woman
working.
and the father of the house. So yeah, these things are happening. Me, I went through sexual abuse from the father of the house.
You went through this?
Yep. So yeah, they are happening. And funnily, they
You
are
were
not
14, Beryl.
I was 14. I was 14, and I can say it wasn't something I'm happy to talk about, but it happened. It wasn't a one-person thing. It's like, let me say, it's something they planned. It was planned, and it was planned not only the father of the house, but the mother as well knew.
In your case, the mother
knew.
Your employer.
I'm my employer.
In this house, you're working.
Yeah.
The mother of that house.
Yeah.
And the father of that house conspired and they abused you.
Yeah, they did. In a way that the father of the house and 3 other friends, the mother went to Shago, let me say, and 3 other friends came over at night. And
this man?
Yeah, they usually do. So I didn't see anything bad. They usually do, and even if the mother was at home every Friday, they came over, have a drink, and then sleep over. So at this particular day, the mother wasn't around. She went to Shago with her kid. They got 1 kid, and I went to sleep. It was in the middle of the night. They were drinking, chatting. Me, I went to sleep. I had a room, so I closed and went to sleep. I was called at night, 2 a.m. They called me to come and give them the glass, something like that. So I was really sleepy, but I had to because they are my employer, you know. So when I came, what I had was the other person say, "Iti, you said she's innocent, but she looks young and stuff." And the owner of the house said, "You can't really tell unless you want to confirm." And I was so shocked. I just came out of sleep, I don't really understand what they're talking about, but in the after a few seconds, I was grabbed, and then they pinned me on the ground.
Okay, Beryl, don't even go into the details.
Not really. I'm not going into the detail. So that's what I'm saying. After everything, I called the woman of the house, and I told her I had really high hopes on her because I was like, if they did this, she might understand. And do you know what she said? She said, I seduced them.
She didn't.
She did. She said, I'm the cause of what happened because I seduced them. And she threatened. She told me, just know there is nothing you can do about it. Even if you go to the police station, we are the law. We are the one who make those laws. So I didn't really go to the police station. I just went back to the bureau. And the bureau lady worked with them. They must work together, It's for bureau lady, it's a legal job. So they must work with the police. And so now, bureau lady was like, it's my business. I can't risk it, to go to the police station. And, they are policemen. They will do this and this. I'm like, okay. So I just swept it under the rug. And now I'm a mom.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
You're a mom as a result of that assault that took place in that home that night?
Yep.
This is too much. This is just too much.
That's the reality.
Oh my God.
Yeah. A lot is happening. Kids are suffering. It's just that.
Let me ask you, Beryl.
Yep.
You're very articulate in how you're narrating this.
Yeah.
And the reason I told you don't even go into the details is because I can't manage those details. Right? It's too much for my head.
Yeah.
We've covered stories. We've had so many horrible stories.
Yep.
But just to hear you explain this and how you've been robbed of your childhood,
Yeah.
robbed of your education, robbed of your dignity, abused, and everything stolen from you, your freedom stolen, everything taken away from you.
Yeah.
You are at a point now, you ended up having a child.
Yeah. He's
Are
7.
you okay?
He's 7.
You have a beautiful smile.
He's
Beryl.
7.
You are.
Yeah.
He's 7 years.
Yeah, he's 7. I think despite what happened, despite the abuse, I lost hope at that point. And honestly, I looked at it in a way that if I did something, after everything, I was afraid of dying, actually. Because I was like, I had a friend who did an abortion and they died in the process. And I didn't want that at that point. I was like, I don't want to die. So I just kept the baby and continued working. I went to another household after finding out I'm pregnant. I went to another household, worked for 9 months until my due date. And then I was moved to a shelter. So it's hard as a person. It's hard. Healing, I can't really say I'm healed completely. No, I'm just learning every day to live with it. And because I have a kid and he's growing, and it's not his fault actually. It's never his fault. So I went through a lot of counseling. I'm still going through counseling, and now I'm an advocate. I'm advocating for children who is going through the same thing I went through. So it's not easy. Even today, it's never easy. So, but we have to live, right? Yeah, life.
I'm tearing.
I can't believe it. It's unbelievable because I'm imagining you're here encouraging us and saying that we have to live, right? That we have to go through things like this. But then there's the law, Justice Adrang. I can't imagine the things that you've heard or the cases that are presented before your court. What does the law protect? How does the law protect children? There are too many cases. One case is too much.
Yes, one case is too much. And okay, like I said, we are not short of legislation. The law outlaws child labor. The Employment Act, the Children's Act, they both outlaw they outlaw child labor. We have very many sections providing for penalties and the offences and penalties. Of course, this comes in different forms. Child labor comes in different forms. Yeah. So you can be like that, like her latest narration about the assault. That takes form of defilement. So that is charged under the Sexual Offences Act, which provides for very hefty penalties for that kind of offence.
So sorry, Lisa.
Yes.
Before you continue,
yes.
Whatever she's just talked about, she
yes.
knows these people. These are people who she was working for.
Yes.
Are these people even arrested?
No, are they?
Are they arrested?
They're not
Did you
arrested.
report this to the police?
I did. I did report. I got a good Samaritan, and they were like, you need to report these people. They need to face the law. They are not above the law. And finally, the good Samaritan is a a politician. They're still there. So I was in an orphanage at that point, and they came, they had the story, and they were like, no, we have to look into it. So in the process, we went to report, and the police was like, are you sure? Are you sure you would have survived? Mm-hmm. At that point, I had my baby. He was 2 months old. I carried him sitting in front of that policewoman, and he looked at me and asked, are you sure there were policemen? Are you sure you were abused by 4? Are you sure you would have survived? Mm-hmm. Are you lying? She told me, police doesn't like their reputation to be ruined.
All these people you're working for are police?
Yeah. All 4.
This family?
Yeah.
All 4 are police officers who abused you?
Yeah. So the woman was like, she started doubting. And when someone who is so vulnerable comes to you because they have faith in you, tell you something happened to them, and you start asking those kind of questions, they pull back. So I had a lawyer. At that point, I was given a lawyer. So I told them, you know what, I don't feel safe. If we haven't even taken a step, and yet these are the questions I'm being faced with. I have a child, for crying out loud. Will I be lying, sitting here with my child, looking at the policewoman? I asked her, you are a mother, right? You have children, even though maybe you don't have a daughter, but you have a son, and maybe they will give birth to a daughter. Would you love them to be asked this kind of questions? She was like, I'm just asking, I'm just doing my job. So we went back home. The bureau lady was arrested. And she confirmed she knew me. And the only thing which was remaining is for me to go and identify the people from the police station. But unfortunately, my kid fell from the bed, and he had an internal bleeding, so we went to the hospital. So I gave up because my kid was in ICU, and the politician and the lawyer was calling and saying, no, we can't stop the investigation. You have to come and identify. I'm like, my kid is in ICU. Are you kidding? Do you expect me to go to court while my child is in ICU? Do you even care the trauma I'm going through right now? Facing those people, I need time. There is a lot going on. And they were like, it's an opportunity. And I told them, I don't want it. Mm-hmm. If this is what comes with the justice you are giving, let it be. So I tried to report, but that's how it ended. So since then, I've not tried to report again.
Honorable Ziza,
yeah,
there lies in the problem.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about justice.
Yes.
You are at the end of
this process, yeah.
And she goes to report the abuse.
Yeah.
And she's being victimized at the police station.
Yes, we are actually cognizant of that, and I think the both of you will admit, even just narrating a bad experience that has happened to you, leave alone a sexual experience that has happened to you, is trauma enough. So I think judiciary has taken a few steps. We have specialized courts for children.
Yes.
We have specialized children magistrates who are now trained to handle this kind of cases, to handle children, and also taking cognizant of the fact that these children have gone through trauma, and it may be even difficult for them to testify in court. We have now counselors in court. These are things that were never there in the past. It's progressive. We have counselors, we have shelters, we are trying to get safeguards for now children. At the at the National Police Service, I think there is also work in progress.
Yeah.
There's a department that is now dealing with children. It's called Anti-Human Trafficking Child Protection Unit. So progressively, I don't know how. I cannot confirm how it's working right now. But I know there's a department that is dedicated to dealing with now, so that when a child goes to the police station to report, they find a more comfortable, so to speak, environment for reporting.
I don't know why it's so difficult in this country with everything that we're talking about. If we're talking about child labor, and this is just an example, a real life example of what a child has gone through, to where now we have Beryl in studio narrating this. It's real for her.
It is.
And it speaks, like you said earlier, it's just one example among thousands, hundreds, if not thousands. I was in India some time back, and there's something I observed. India went through a similar thing, and every country has these same issues. And one thing I spotted, and I asked somebody, what's happening here? At every road intersection in that city, there was a pink sort of structural building. And I kept asking, and it's written police, I kept asking, what exactly is this? And they said, because of the numerous cases and how then police, generally regular police, are not trained to handle our testimony and to avoid victimization, then they designated stations where women and children can go report abuse. Now, these stations, you have a trained counselor, you've got a police officers, and mostly these will be women who have gone through training, rigorous training, to understanding how then you end up talking to someone like Beryl, who's come to report, who's emotionally damaged, who's been abused. And it's difficult to even start thinking, how do you collect then evidence? They came up with that. Why is it difficult for Kenya to think progressively on how to, because these conversations around domestic violence and how women then go report to police stations and how they end up being victimized, like Beryl is saying, are you sure you are abused? How does a human being ask somebody who's been abused such a question? And we've heard these stories. Why are we not making progress with this?
We have made progress. That's why I was talking about the dedicated desk at the police station that deals with. There is a gender desk. Then there's also the desk that now children, that anti-human trafficking and child protection unit desk. There's a desk in the police station that deals with this. Even at the prosecution level at the ODPP, there's also a specific desk or prosecutors that are trained to, prosecute the child cases, child labor cases. So it is it's work in progress. Progressively, I think we are picking lessons and doing the best that we can to ensure that at least children get justice. She has, maybe if I speak, I'll be told I'm speaking on behalf of government, I'm defending government. But she's working with survivors in that, she's an advocate for survivors in that space. So she can tell from where she sits and from the experiences of children who've gone through this. Since she reported, and now if there's been progress, if we are handling children better, if or are we still the same as it was when you reported 7 years ago?
I think it's all, I don't blame anyone when it comes to trauma inform. Not everybody, you can go to school to be a lawyer, but when it comes to dealing with cases, you don't really know which kind of cases you will get. Like, you might be like strong and stuff, and then a case comes and you just broke down. You don't know how to handle it. So for me, I think we have a big progress. Now we have a desk you can go where specifically it's children's desk. People who are handling that case is trauma informed. They know how to handle children. A while back, we didn't have that. It was everybody just come, whether you are not comfortable, you want a woman to handle your case or a man, they didn't let you. They will just tell you, you write your statement, is it special more than others? But right now we have a desk.
Okay.
I think we have taken few steps, and we are learning still. I think we will reach there.
It's a difficult Justice Thursday conversation that we've had this morning, and a bit of a cliffhanger because just from what you've also said, Justice Adrang, that there are horrible, horrible things happening. We could be sitting here now and there are children who are being exploited in a manner that is so grotesque that unfortunately we're not able to stop in the moment, but unfortunately we deliver justice after the fact. The hope is that when one is caught and dealt with, that will set precedent for these things to cease. But the truth of the matter is that we're in the belly of this thing, and that there are too many cases that are going on, and that it is more than a rallying call, that something has to be done to protect children. Because when we talk about child labor, we're talking about some serious, serious things that are happening. And unfortunately, with the consent of parents who should be the primary protector, we can go on and on. But time doesn't allow us on this show to go beyond this hour. But we can't stop talking about it because in the secrecy is where this evil is thriving.
Yeah, true.
Beryl, thank you for your strength and your brave courage to be here this morning and to continue talking about these things.
Thank
you. We can't but wish you a life better than the experience.
Sorry, I have to ask this. How is your son now?
He's okay.
He came out of ICU, everything is okay?
Yeah, but he got brain surgery. Is it brain surgery? So he still got those complications here and there. I was told the brain is still growing, so we still face challenges here and there. We are in the hospital in and out. Some seasons when it's cold, we are in the hospital, fever and stuff, but I thank God he's growing.
Well, your exemplary positivity is a lesson for us all, that's for sure. The Honourable Justice Aziza Adrang has been here also with us this morning, as well as Beryl, who've helped us with this conversation. These are the conversations we must have. And thank you for being here this morning and doing this with us. Asante Sana. Thanks, folks, for making this Kenya's biggest conversation at 2 minutes past 10. Good morning.
The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning. This is the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga. President William Ruto is currently hosting the Vice Chancellors of Public Universities at State House, Nairobi. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki and Higher Education